Welcome back to episode 200 of the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. My name is Josh. I'm here with Troy, and I'm also here with Phil.
It's a Gong Show Super Show.
Like that?
I like it a lot, yeah.
All right, well, 200. Is this a big deal, Troy? I don't know. Do we celebrate these anymore?
No, just keep going. We'll celebrate it like 500 or something.
Okay. Yeah, it's like we're on the hamster wheel now, right? We just keep going and going and going. Mentioned Phil's back. Hey, Phil, how's it going?
Going good. How you boys doing?
Doing well, thank you. The puppy is whining at me for some reason. It always starts. Our dogs always start the minute we hit record. Can you hear him?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You got something to say, Kobe, or what? What's going on here, buddy? I think my wife's mowing the lawn, so he's freaking out. Okay, we took a timeout, and these guys know because they don't stop seeing what's happening. But the second I timeout, my dog stops. It's not like Murphy's Law, right? Whatever can happen will when you start a podcast. And honestly, what a better way to start episode 200 of the Gong Show with the total Gong Show moment, because that's apparently how we roll around here. Okay, Phil, what I was trying to say is welcome back. Have you been enjoying yourself so far? This is the fourth Super Show, I believe now. Is that right?
It's the fourth one. Wow. Yeah, no, it's great. I'm having for every 50 amazing, flattering messages, I get one nasty one. So it's a lot of fun, man. It's been great. It's actually had me score some good trades. I've picked up 2 good trades just from putting the Loud Collector's name out there. So
nice.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Can I ask you about the feedback a little bit? Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, sure, if you'd like. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's comes with the territory, right?
Yeah.
Happens to everybody, where if you're going to put yourself out there and it is the internet, you're going to get positive and then some negative back. And I would echo what you've communicated. We've heard tons and tons and tons of people say amazing things about your appearances on our show. And then there have been, as we've all seen, a few people that have had feedback that, would be negative. Some of it's been a little nasty.
Yeah, that cut me deep, some of those boys.
Completely honest. And that's why I wanted to ask you is, how have you dealt with that? Because it's not fun to hear that you're an idiot, right?
Yeah, you get used to it after a while in real life. So I don't have a problem in IRL. I learned that from my son from Hasselhoff. So for the folks that don't know, IRL means in real life. Sure. I'm a heavy flavor to handle, have always been my whole life. And in real life, I don't really have a problem. If someone doesn't like me, that's okay. Not everyone can like you, right? I don't like some other people too, but they're not bad people.
I was going to say the one thing I've always learned, it's like there's probably nuggets of truth splattered in some of that stuff. It doesn't have to be all nasty. So I try to take that away from it, because believe me, when we started, we still do. There's still some people that don't like us, which is fine.
Well, not you, Troy. Everybody loves Troy. I don't
Yeah.
He's like the internet's darling. It's me. So, Phil, this is really a conversation. Troy, you get out of this conversation.
Yeah.
Everybody loves you. Nobody ever criticizes
Just wait.
you.
Now we're going to have 500 messages.
Yeah.
It should
it's
be
me
Josh
and
and Phil. Throw Troy out.
That gets it. Well, actually, Phil, I've been pretty impressed with how you've handled getting some of the negative feedback. And I think what you're doing is what I have observed myself, or have maybe learned myself, is you just address it head on.
Yeah.
And have a conversation with people, be humble, right?
Don't
Acknowledge
fight,
that.
Just talk.
Well, I like in real life, I don't usually have an issue because it doesn't bother me. I definitely don't like inconveniencing people. I don't like if some of my behavior that's unnecessary is making someone uncomfortable. But the pendulum has swung so far away. I'm kind of caring less and less because my intentions are, as I feel, they're good. I don't mean harm on anyone. I love jokes. I love laughing.
Sure.
I get cancer tomorrow. I got to make a cancer joke, right? But there's a certain amount of people that'll say that's rude or disrespectful. You can't win them over. I mean, what can you do? So, but the feedback overall has been fantastic. And here's a big point. Most people that write something nasty and cuts deep online, they're probably not going to say it to your face. And I don't mind confrontation. I like walking in the bad part of the city with my head high. I don't know. I'm comfortable in it. So in the internet, it's been quite the week. After a few comments, I've had to relearn how to handle that and deal with it. And will this matter in 5 years? No, it won't. Will we be friends in 5 years? Absolutely. And that's what matters, right?
Oh, 100%. Like I was saying, Phil, the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, and we're really happy that you're here. Troy and I have a lot of fun with you on this show. But I think it is, one of the things we try to do here is be real.
Yeah.
Right. And it's good to be real human beings and through some of this stuff. So I appreciate your willingness to open up about that. Okay. Anything happened this weekend that we need to talk about, or was it just normal dad weekend type stuff that we did?
Troy?
Not on my end. It's kind of a slow week here in the US, or upcoming week, because it's 4th of July. So it's our
Yeah.
Independence Day in the US. Usually everyone just bails for a week, go to their cabins, cottages, all that fun stuff. Lake houses. We've learned lake house now. I trying to get all my terms right. But yeah, so nothing too exciting. It's no contact week for the high school league. So high school coaches,
What
we
does that
can't
mean?
do any. I mean, we can't do any like training or anything with high school athletes.
Why?
You can't beat the kids. No
It's
contact.
That's
it's just
bad,
because and it's kind of sad that there has to be a week that the high school league says no contact, let the kids have vacations and go do things.
Oh.
Because if you don't, it goes both ways, right? These parents will push their kids and they'll do stuff. They won't take a break, or else coaches, because some coaches, this is their livelihood, right? They make all their money in the summer, basically, because let's be honest, coaching high school sports doesn't pay very well at a public high school. And a lot of coaches have to have summer camps, summer trainings to make money, or to make supplemental income, we'll say. But you still need that time off. These kids need a break. These are 13 to 17, 18-year-olds. They need time to themselves. Go on vacation. Go do something.
Hang out with your family.
Yes.
What they all want to do.
Yeah.
Isn't there there's like a Canada Day or something like that, the equivalent, right? Because so Phil, when I was growing up, my parents were divorced. I spent a number of summers in Toledo, Ohio, and we would every summer for the 4th of July, we would go up to Detroit, and on Detroit and Windsor would celebrate
Nice.
the Freedom Festival there.
Okay.
Right. So is there like a 4th of July equivalent?
Phil's reaction, I
Wow.
don't think there is. No, Canada's got to have an Independence Day, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't know much about Windsor. We call it's kind of the armpit of Ontario. That's what we call Windsor.
Really?
Well, Cornwall. There's I should 1A, 1B. I don't know. Hey, I'm
Well,
not
New
from the
Jersey-
best part of Ottawa either. So
New Jersey in the U.S. is what we call the armpit. That's what I've heard. Never been there, so I can't really.
Racine, Wisconsin. Isn't that what we always say in Minnesota? Or is that shots fired?
No, it's the whole state of Wisconsin, right?
Ooh.
why do you guys not
kidding.
like Wisconsin? What
Oh,
It's
better
just a
dead than red.
rivalry thing. They're better than us at most sports, and they win.
We don't
They win
handle it well.
titles. They win titles. We don't. And
they're your
no,
Maple Leafs.
I've actually listened. I've been to for tournaments for baseball the last couple of weeks. We've been to New Richmond, Wisconsin, and River Falls. Gorgeous cities, beautiful cities. Like lots of great facilities. They invest in their youth athletics. It's amazing.
So is that in Wisconsin?
Yeah, those are in Wisconsin.
And we hate Wisconsin.
I guess. I
Kinda.
don't.
All right, sounds good. So yes, we have an Independence Day. We call it Canada Day. It's July 1st. I live in Ottawa, Canada, which is the capital of Canada. And last year we normally light up the Parliament buildings in beautiful colors, but last year we didn't because well, we don't want to get political, but it is offensive to some people, so we didn't celebrate the red and white. And I didn't go downtown. Usually I go downtown and we take public transit and we all go downtown for the fireworks, but I don't think we did that last year.
Are they doing it this year?
I don't believe so. No, we have to wait for a regime change.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, one quick announcement for Thursday's show. We're gonna have Billy Celio on from Upper Deck.
Yeah.
He's gonna
Nice.
talk some extended NHL draft upcoming releases, so everybody look forward to that. And then a huge announcement, big time announcement. We've been waiting on this for what, 6 months, 9 months? I don't know how long it's been. We're gonna announce right now the winner of our 5K challenge. First, got to say many thanks to producer Louie for tabulating all the comps on that. It is a nightmare, and really
Yes.
appreciate his work there. Now, remember, the winner that we're going to announce right now receives a sealed box of 2020-21 The Cup. Very, very special. Now, have you guys, either of you, ever opened a box of the
What?
Cup?
What? I thought that was for the draft. That's for the 5K challenge, the cup.
Mhm.
Yeah, you didn't do
Wow.
it. I checked. Why did you not submit?
I don't
And
do
then-
contest stuff. I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't even submit.
I should
was
have. I
too-
can't believe if I won, everyone would think it's an inside job. So it's better I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But have you guys ever opened the Cup? Phil, have you ever
No.
opened a box of the Cup?
I have 12 empty tins behind me to make me feel like a baller, but they're empty.
I've
Wait,
never
what?
either.
You
I've
just bought
watched
the
it.
tins?
No, my LCS. Shout out
Oh.
to the Box Sports, Ottawa. They give me free tins because that's the only way they can get me out of the store and stop talking.
We know Troy hasn't because I would know if you had.
Yeah.
But how it worked is before the season started, we gave every one of our Patreon supporters via the Gongshow Discord the opportunity to pick up to 15 cards, totaling no more than $5,000 in recent comps. Not real money, just making picks.
Funny money.
And then the game was pretty simple then. So as of the most recent comp, one day after the Cup Finals, which was just Tuesday, whoever's picks had gone up the most in value or down the least, I guess, would win the box of the Cup. So without further ado, with an increase from the start of the season to the end of 20.93%,
Wow.
the winner of a seal box of 2020-21 the Cup is, drumroll, Troy.
Come on.
All right, here we go. From the bench.
Oh, nice. Well, that's good.
Right.
Awesome. Here we go.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
There it is. We got McKinnon and Justin Herbert. Go Oregon.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we will reach out via Discord. We will send you your box of the Cup shortly, and then we'll live vicariously through you because we've never opened up such a cool box.
Yeah, he'll probably get like the product hit, whatever it is. Don't ask me, but
it'll be like a Kaprizov 1-of-1. It'll have been sitting at my house this whole time.
It'll be a hard sign too. It won't be a sticker.
I hope it's good though. I really.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. Would you guys open it or would you sell it?
I'd open it in a heartbeat.
Open.
Yeah.
I think me too. Now, if next year you want to participate in the 5K challenge, the way to do that is by supporting the Hockey Cards Gong Show. You can do that for as little as $5 a month. Be one of our first 199 supporters of our show. Forever have that title. Help us produce more and hopefully better hockey card content. Keep our show going. Fund initiatives, even in a small way, to grow the hockey card hobby. It's very easy to do. You can go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com. Click on the Become a Patron link at the top of the page. You can go to the Patreon website directly, patreon.com, and just search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. If you're listening to us on a podcast app, there's a link in the description. There's also a link in the description on YouTube, and then our Instagram and TikTok profiles as well. All right. That was a pretty long intro, Troy. You ready with the game plan?
I think so. We begin with the almost greatest NHL player to wear 00. Then, as free agency starts, today we have a primer where we take a look at a couple of players who might have some hobby impact depending on how free agency plays out. Next is hobby news, followed by us trying to figure out what actually moves the hobby needle. Then it's off to what creases fills corner. Corners. What creases fills corners. I love it. I don't know if you knew that, but that's what he's going to do today. We're going to have a segment with him. This is followed by a look at new product releases, the Gongshow Mailbag, and any personal pickups we have. All right. Previously, we looked at the greatest NHL player that wore the number that matched our episode number. We ran through all the numbers, so now we are looking at the almost greatest NHL player to wear each number from the runners-up in the Hockey Writers' Greatest NHL Player to Wear Each Number article. Okay, fellas, the almost greatest NHL player to wear 00 per the nominees in the Hockey Writers' Greatest NHL Player to Wear Each Number article, and selected by me, is this guy, Martin Biron. Now, I'm going to need Phil's help. I think he's French Canadian. Mm-hmm. Is that Biron? Like Biron?
Marty Biron.
All right, Biron. I'm going to go with Biron.
Try not to say the end, maybe. Biron.
That's bro.
Like start to say the end, cup the lip, and then don't do it, though.
You got to crinkle your nose at the end, I think, right?
I'm going to just go Martin. I'm just going to say
Marty Biron.
Listen, I watched YouTube videos, and I know I could not say his last name. It doesn't work. I don't know what it is with me. I can't say it. But anyways, we're going to go with Martin. Now there have only been 2 players in the history of the NHL to wear 00. Let me try this again. So Martin Biron, is that good enough?
Sure, let's keep going.
Is the almost greatest NHL player to wear 00 by default, as John Davidson was the greatest NHL player to wear 00. And as for those wondering about the number, the single 0 number, only one player in NHL history has worn single 0. That would be Neil Sheehy, who we looked at it on episode 100, along with John Davidson, as we did a 2-for-1 with the greatest player to wear 00 and 0. So let's look at our boy Martin. I'm just gonna call him
Wait,
Martin.
so you're saying he took second place in a 2-player contest?
Yes.
Ouch. Dead last.
Yes, dead last. So overview: goalie from Lac, St. Charles, Quebec, Canada. I'm assuming Lac, LAC is lake. Is that the translation?
Yeah.
Like, so we'll go Lake St. Charles, Quebec, Canada. God, I want to say this right. Burrell? Burrell?
You're doing better. You're doing better.
Burrell was selected 16th overall in the 1995 NHL Entry Draft by the Buffalo Sabres. Martin played in 508 regular season NHL games over a 16-season NHL career. Barone played his first 8+ seasons with the Buffalo Sabres. Then it was off to 2+ season stint with the Philadelphia Flyers, followed by a 1-season stop with the New York Islanders. Braun finished his career with 4 seasons with the New York Rangers. For his awards and accomplishments, we have nothing. No individual hardware. I think he was 10th in the Calder voting his rookie season. That's about all I got.
He was a good goalie.
Good. Yeah, he's like, once you read about him, hey, he had a pretty good career for 16 seasons. 230 wins, 191 losses, 52 ties or overtime losses, with a 2.61 goals against average and a .910 save percentage with 28 shutouts. Braun made the playoffs in only two of his 16 NHL seasons, compiling 11 wins, 12 losses with a 2.87 goals against average, .908 save percentage, and 2 shutouts in 23 games played. Best regular season of his career from a stat standpoint, I went with his 2001-02 season where Braun had 31 wins, 28 losses, 10 ties with a 2.22 goals against average, .91 save percentage with 4 shutouts in 72 games played with Buffalo. Braun had a productive NHL regular season career. He was mainly a backup, but he did have, I think there was 3 or 4 seasons which actually saw him as a starter. I know once Hasek left, I think he started in Buffalo for a little bit. However, Braun saw the playoffs in only 2 of his 16 NHL seasons, so not a lot of success there. But hey, 16 seasons in the NHL. He's got a winning, got more wins than losses, pretty decent goals against average for the era he played. So
super personable guy too. He does RTS work, TSN.
Yep. So currently, our boy right here,
there you go,
is a studio analyst for the Buffalo Sabres on Madison Square Garden Network. Sorry, I couldn't find a better picture. He's having like as I
sneezing.
Yeah. Previously, he did work for TSN, NHL Network, and the New York Islanders. But if you watch him, very personable. He's got a lot of fun clips out there where he's answering fan questions. Like, seems like a really great guy to like sit down and talk to. All right. For our fun, interesting facts, nickname, Baby Dominator. Like, what? This is where I think
That's a terrible nickname.
I think this is where Hockey Reference is just making stuff up. But Baby Dominator.
He must have got that from being Hasek's backup, I assume. But
I would guess
that would suck to be like worse than the other guy. Well, that's kind of what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Well, what's worse, Baby Dominator or Notch? Our favorite from Brian Lawton, number 98, who was a notch below number 99, Wayne Gretzky.
Well, I would say he was more than a notch, but whatever is like way bigger than a notch is what he was. Yeah. But I get your point.
All right. Braun made his first NHL start on December 26, 1995. Braun was needed to start as all of the Sabres' top 3 goalies were injured. This start at the time made Braun the 4th youngest goalie to start a game in NHL history. There you go. That's fun stuff. This is my favorite one. We've said this one before. Braun is responsible for an NHL rule. After NHL statisticians discovered a bug in their new stat tracking software, the Braun rule restricted jersey numbers to whole numbers between 1 and 99, later limited to numbers 1 and 98 after the league-wide retirement of number 99 for Wayne Gretzky. Braun was the only NHL player affected, as at the time he wore 00. So the NHL just figured it's a lot cheaper to just change what numbers you can wear than actually go back and fix the code in the system, which cracks me up.
It's like a sign of a time, right? Technology is supposed to make everything better, but yet we end up having to do stupid things like that. Just
like
to
the
not
year
fix the
2000
software.
bug, Y2K bug, and there's another one coming up where the year flip kind of screws things up. It's not like a round number. I'd have to look it up again.
Oh, really?
So he lost his number due to a decimal point in a software.
Due to the software.
Unbelievable.
I probably did some
Poor guy.
like memory error or something. Who knows what 00 threw it off. And that's very NHL like. But and finally,
like the number 0 though. Would you ever wear the number 0 for anything?
Yeah, I sponsor my baseball team, and I have 00s on all our back of our t-shirts.
Why?
Yeah,
what's
I love
meaning of
00. It's kind of like an underdog, right? That's the way I see it. Yeah, I like underdogs.
I wore 00 in summer baseball. And then when I got to college, I asked for 00, and the coach basically told me to shut up. He's like, "No, you're gonna get what we give you.
Aim higher, Mr. Iverson."
Yeah, they gave me 34, which is all right. All right, Braun is one of 6 players in NHL history to play for all 3 teams based in the state of New York. The other ones are Mike Donnelly, Jason Daw, Pat LaFontaine, Chad Johnson, and Taylor. Is it Piatt? P-Y-A-T-T. Piatt? Piatt. So there we go. That's our fun facts for our boy. Rookie card. Here we go. I love this. I love it. It's so ugly, but I love it. 1995 Parkhurst International, number 295. PSA 10 has a pop of 0. There's only 6 graded copies ever at PSA, with 3 being a PSA 9 and 3 being a PSA 8. At Beckett, this card has 12 graded copies, no gem mints, 7 BGS 9s, 2 BGS 8.5s, 2 BGS 8s, and 1 BGS 7. I could not find any sales for the graded copies for PSA or BGS. Raw, this card goes for about $2 US.
Wow.
There you go. A cool looking card. It's just
it is. So if you're listening, Troy pulled up Marty Gueron's rookie card. It looks like Aqua Velva got into a car accident with an oil spill and is having an epileptic seizure, and Marty Gueron's in the middle.
There's just some odd design choices, like the name up here. The name is in the right corner, and it's got his first name and then below it, but it looks like Martin de Baron. It's just the end.
I didn't even see his name on the card until you pointed it out.
Yeah, but the pads are awesome. If you're looking at the picture, these old Louisville TPSs, just sweet.
They look like they weigh about 4,000 pounds.
They do. They did. Those pads, the pads that I had as a youth and probably were like this. I mean, they get wet and they would get heavy. It's just like they started getting, as I got a little bit older, like, I don't know, 10, 11, it started to get better. A little more.
Tom Barrasso, Darren Pupa, they had the biggest pads, man.
Yeah,
those mid late 90s. Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild.
Darren Pupa.
Darren Pupa.
Yeah.
That's that's not the best one.
12. Okay. We're gonna move on. Talk a little free agency. We've had the draft. We've had trophies go out this week.
Yep.
Free agency. My head has been spinning, guys, around trying to wrap my head around all this. And today, NHL free agency starts. So big day in the NHL. Hopefully we're learning stuff now that we're 200 episodes into this show. What I didn't want to, here's what, I'm going to start by saying what I didn't want to do, and then we'll get into what I did prepare. I didn't want to list like all like 50 free agents where 48 of them have zero hobby.
Oh, we would have done that the first time. The first time we probably did this show, we probably did a free agency. Look, we probably did like 30 of them, and we're like,
Yeah, we totally did. Right. And then I think you learned that very few of them have really any serious hobby relevancy. So I went through the whole list, did do that, and picked out the 2 that I think maybe could potentially, possibly, who knows, have a little bit of hobby impact as they decide where they're gonna sign. And so that's a Steven Stamkos and Patty Kane showtime, kids like to call him. So I want to start with Patrick Kane because we haven't talked about him in a little while. Because we're all aware, he spent last year with the Detroit Red Wings, played 50 games with the Wings, had 20 goals, 27 assists for 47 points. That's not bad, right? Almost a point per game last year with the Wings. Giving his career totals now 471 goals, 813 assists for 1,284 points and 1,230 games played. He's 35 years old, has played in the NHL since 2007-8. And remember now, about a year or so ago, he had hip resurfacing surgery. So, Phil, Where does hip resurfacing land on your list of things you'd like to experience in your life?
Ooh, not good. My hips are very tight already, so I don't want to take that further.
I get a little bit of like throw up in my mouth every time I have to say that. That just sounds like so bad.
Yeah, it
And
sounds compromising.
well, and if we went at the time when he came back, who are the other guys, Troy? It's
Someone
the
from
guy
the
from the
Capitals.
Capitals.
Yeah, it's the Capitals. It's not. Is it Backstrom?
Yeah, Backstrom.
Yeah.
And then everyone else before him too have not been able to come back from this.
Yeah,
So I think
not went well.
playing 50 games, 47 points, that's a pretty good sign. And as I recall too, as Patrick Kane was coming back, he was saying, well, maybe as tough as it is to come back from a procedure like this, that the fact that he could skate without pain was like the first time in forever. So yeah, I don't know about you guys, but
I wouldn't take a
I thought it was
flyer
a
on
pretty
him.
good year.
Yeah, good. I'm not the biggest fan of Kane, though.
Okay, well, why not?
I don't know. He Chicago was too good, man, 15 years ago, right? So they left a bad taste in my mouth when they kept winning cups and dominating the whole league. No, he's all right. I respect him, but I don't want him on my team.
Do you think there's something to the fact that he's American? Do Canadians just not prefer American hockey players?
Who's my favorite hockey player right now playing in the NHL?
Kachuk.
Yeah.
Brady.
All right.
He's not Canadian.
Well, so as far as where he might end up, it sounds like the Rangers are really interested in bringing him back.
That's a very Rangers thing, it seems.
Yeah, ends a career there.
He played 19 games with them at the end of 2022-23. He also has not ruled out a return to the Red Wings, but I don't know. You'd think that there wouldn't be so much steam on other teams if it was like a done deal. He was going to go back there. Now, the Wings also didn't make the playoffs last season, so who knows if he want to get on a team that maybe he feels is closer to winning the cup. You'd think at this stage of his career that would most likely be a top priority for him. Now, remember, he's a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, Calder winner in 2008, won the Conn Smythe in 2013, won Art Ross trophy, the Hart and Ted Lindsay Award in 2016. Basically, he's already a Hall of Famer. So I don't know. Well, and then I was thinking about him, who could probably really use him. Wouldn't you say Chicago?
Yeah, just think of that. Yeah, right. Good.
I mean, wouldn't as opposed to who's winging Bedard right now? I would think Patrick Kane would be a perfect fit, but I'm sure there's bad blood or something like that.
He seems like he'd be a bad influence. There's something about Kane that seems.
I think Kane I don't know. I think he settled down. I think he did have some stuff in his past where it never really came out as confirmed. So you gotta
forever a frat boy. I think that's kind of what he just. I don't know.
Speaking of,
I feel like I know him in circles I grew up in, like the archetype. I don't know. This is horrible. I don't want to be mean for a guy I've never met, but yeah, he feels like a forever frat boy.
Did you see? If you have access to Instagram, there's a clip floating around with Bedard, and I was thinking about Corey Perry, and it's totally AI made up of Bedard giving his Calder speech. Now, family friendly show. We're not going to show anything from this because it's horrible, but it's hilarious.
That's going to be a problem soon. Because there was Paul Reese clips during the playoffs too that were pretty nasty, and if you are a little bit on the naive side, especially as it comes to technology, that could really dupe you.
Yep.
And they're only going to get better and better and more indistinguishable as time goes on. So yeah, that's going to be a problem. Okay, let's talk about Kane and the hobby a little bit. Does it matter at this point where he goes? I mean, I kind of feel like he's sort of at like when the Yager stage of his career. I'm not comparing him to Jaromir Yager, but when Yager was like playing for the Rangers and then the Stars, where I don't know, at the end of the day, he'll just end up being a Blackhawk when it's all said and done.
Nah, nobody cares. Nobody like the Kane. Whoever is PCing Kane has been doing so for many years. It doesn't matter. He could win. He could play 2 more years and win 2 more cups. I don't know.
I was gonna say the only thing I could see, he'd have to score 150 points to even have anyone care anymore about jumping up on his values and stuff. I think everything's baked in. We know who he is. We know he's at the end of his career.
And his skills are going to be diminished, of course. I also think there's something to the fact that when you get these guys who are at the in the last couple of years, and they're not close to where they were at their peak, that we kind of judge them based on the moment. But then 5 years after Kane is retired, he'll be the legendary Blackhawks player, and we'll see him more in that lens than we do the 38-year-old hanging onto his career by a thread. Does that make sense to you guys too?
Totally agree.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I had to look it up because I know he's in the top 5, but he's number 3 all time for points by an American in the NHL. So he's got a pretty good
joke.
Barring any more incidences, he'll be remembered as a superstar Blackhawk, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Patrick Kane is a 2007-8 Young Guns PSA 10 pop 386, pretty low. 31% Jeremy Lessel for $824 on May 23rd. Up about 1% in the past 3 months and up 10% in the past 6 months. So, pretty flat.
Wow.
Over.
Does that seems low to me? But that's me.
He's not like, he's at that weird status where he's not Mario Lemieux.
Yeah.
But he's like Mike Modano. Mike Modano status.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. 3-time Cup winner, Rookie of the Year. He's got a heart. Named one of the 100 greatest players of all time. He's got an Art Ross, Conn Smythe. It's pretty nuts.
Would you say like Peter Forsberg, Joe Sakic, kind of?
Whoa! No, I'm biased because those are our guys, but I wouldn't take it that far.
You just said that.
What?
You have no bias against American, and now you come up with those are our guys.
Well, that's just coincidence. No. Our guy, like our age, our demographic, not patriotism. Jeez.
Yeah, well, you can't claim Forsberg, right? He's Swedish.
Forget the nationality. I'm saying what I'm saying. Listen, would you put Sakic and Forsberg with Modano? No, Modano's below those two. So Kane is not a Sakic. Come on.
Now you made Louis mad. Now Louis is gonna like.
Well, he needs to produce
audio.
More...
He's gonna mute you the whole show.
Anyways,
all right, we got to move on to I think the other interesting pending UFA, and this one I don't get. Like I'm so and I actually did a lot of research because I wanted to understand like what is going on behind the curtain here. But it's Steven Stamkos, the 34-year-old, not super old, the greatest fixture of all time, by the way.
Just Thor. We said he's Thor, the God of Thunder, is like what he looks like.
Okay, so I'm gonna give a little bit of background in the frame of reference and the lens I want to take this through is how does this possibly make sense? Okay, he's 34, so nowhere near, a few good years of prime left. He's the captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning, has played all 16 seasons in Tampa Bay, number 1 overall pick by the franchise in 2008, 2-time Rocket Richard Trophy winner, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, EA Sports NHL cover athlete in 2012. Now, Phil, you would have played that if you were allowed to play video games growing up, but
I didn't.
You've only been an adult for 4 years somehow.
I play Blades of Steel every night, Josh. What are you talking about?
Oh, great game. Great game.
Takes a pass.
Now to boot, over his career, Stamkos has 555 goals, 582 assists, 1,137 points in 1,082 games played. And again, it's not like he's just old and can't produce anymore. This past season, he had 40 goals, 41 assists for 81 points in 79 games played. How are they going to just get rid of this? Like, what? Something has to be going on behind the scenes. Like, it has to be a personality thing or something, right?
I feel like something's been going on for a few years. Like, isn't for the last 3 years, every year it's like, oh, Stamkos is at odds with the brass, and now I guess it just came to fruition. Is that the saying?
Because normally when a franchise has an opportunity to keep a guy like this for his entire career, who's still producing, who probably behind Le Cavier or St. Louis has every Tampa Bay record there is, you just don't let a guy like this go. It's like
there's no loyalty
Twins Troy getting rid of Kirby Puckett or something like that.
Yeah, there's no loyalty anymore though, man. Like dollars is the loyalty, I don't know. If it was 1986, sure, they would do everything to keep him. But if Gretzky can get traded and they don't want him, well, Stamkos isn't getting traded. They're just not renewing,
Well, it sounds like they offered him $24 million over 8 years, and he turned it down.
Lowball. They're calling it a lowball offer.
Yeah, big time.
100%. Well, PLD makes $9 million a year.
Yeah. Who would you rather have? Right there. There's the end of debate. PLD or Stamkos. I don't care. I'll have Stamkos at 40 over PLD.
So where's he looking to go? Like, I mean, who would be a good fit for Stamkos? You know,
I've seen the typical Red Wings. That Rangers seem to be in every.
Yes,
like,
Rangers
are
always brought up.
Red Wings. That's another one I'm hearing. Right, they're trying to make a push for the playoffs. I don't know. Would you want him on Ottawa, Phil? Or
I love Stamkos, but I don't. I don't see what he would offer other than like great leadership in the locker room and a great third line, maybe.
You know what?
I mean, I don't know.
What I
like,
did? Yeah, I think where did I read an article on Stamkos? Was it Ottawa? It was, oh man, shoot! It was something about Toronto. Toronto's the new one that I saw.
No. Then I want him on Ottawa.
Well, they were saying. I guess the last time Stamkos came up, or maybe I can't remember if it was trade talks, if he was maybe his past deal, Toronto was brought up, and Stamkos ultimately like thought about it. He's like, no, that's kind of Matthews, or that's Matthews' team. I don't want any conflict. I don't want to come in and be like this dual leadership thing. I know it was so now the rumors are coming out. It's going to be Toronto.
Oh, that dual leadership. He's that AM34 is that sensitive.
I don't know. This is all like rumor crap and all that stuff. Now
you know, team would be perfect for Troy, but that he would never want to go to. And of course, we have no money. But honestly, the Wild need a center like him desperately to put with Kaprizov.
Could you imagine
so far from the playoffs
in a Wild jersey? That doesn't look right, boys. I'm sorry.
Why not?
I don't know. Oh.
All right. So do we have no predictions?
No, Rangers. I think it's the Rangers. Yeah.
That's like the easy.
I'm gonna say Toronto.
Reflex. Okay. Ooh.
Since Toronto can't freaking get their draft picks in order or take too much time, we'll get to that later. But
maybe they should get a goalie. But we tired. Yeah, Phil's gonna say they like Joseph Woll. So
Joseph, he's a good goalie, man. He's a good goalie. I saw him a lot this year.
Stamkos is a 2008-9 Young Guns PSA 10 pop, only 447, 37% gem rate. Last sold for $329 US on June 21st, up about 20% in the past 3 months. I don't know. Maybe some people are trying to get the jump on free agency with them, or I don't know what's going on there. But
ugly card.
I hate that Young Guns.
Yeah, 2008 Young Guns.
It's the retros from Extended this year, right?
I know. Yeah, so that's Bedard.
Hold on.
Too, yeah.
I think I got one. Let me show
It looks like the gate to a scary house.
There, yeah, I got a Leo Carlson. That was
it's ugly.
Humble brag.
It makes me itchy. Makes me itchy.
There, you can see the gate, the metal gate that we called it.
All right, well, I'm just going to go very quickly through 4 other names, and we're just going to, if anyone wants to chime in with a thought, we will, or otherwise we'll move on. So a couple other potentially notable free agents were like Sam Reinhart, 50-some goals, Stanley Cup champion. Anyone care?
Meh.
Jonathan
I would take him on the Wild, I'll tell you that much.
All right. What about Jonathan Marchessault?
I'd take a flyer sheet. That's about it.
He's been really, just nobody pays much attention to Las Vegas, but he's been pretty good. I mean, he's their all-time leading goal scorer.
He had 40. I didn't know he had 42 last year. Wow.
Do we think at this point Tarasenko now has played more years in the NHL or been on more teams?
Ooh. Well, we had a crack at him. We don't want him back.
Yeah, so. I think Tarasenko I would just pass on. I think his time is kind of coming to an end.
Were you excited when they got him, Phil?
Yeah, we were so excited. Everyone was, and he played really well here. He just doesn't fit. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, who's a great city favorite? The people were pretty upset when we let him go, but I thought it was a good move. Yeah, it's good.
And the last, maybe one is like Tyler Toffoli, who seems to be a good player that never can stick with the team very long.
Ex-Ottawa 67 too, I believe.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah, he's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams. Holy cow!
Oh, all right. Well, here's your free agency look. Probably 2 decently hobby relevant guys. Got to make a quick mention for Gongshow partner sponsor Slab Sharks. Of course, we are very, very thankful for their support of our show. The current Slab Sharks weekly eBay auction is live. Make sure you head to slabsharks.com post haste to check out all the sweet hockey cards in this week's auction and to maybe set some favorites. Maybe throw in an early bid or 2. All 3 of us spent some time this week combing through the Slab Sharks auction. And our homework, we had homework on the show, was to pick out our 2 favorites to share. We're gonna give you the honor, Troy. You can tell us what your 2 favorites were first.
Yeah, I got 3 because I did extra credit.
Oh, you told me I couldn't have 3.
Why? You just sucking up to the professor.
All right, I'm sucking up. Here we go. My first one, just Upper Deck the Cup. In this toy, I saw this. I was like, oh, recent MVP Nathan McKinnon. Let's look at this card just quickly. So Nathan McKinnon, limited logos, rookie patch auto out of 50, PSA 9. Buy this card, crack it immediately because it looks dumb in the holder. Plus, it's a horizontal card, which never looks good in any graded slab. So I would get this card. I love it. Auto looks nice. There is some streakiness, so just see that if you don't like where the little streaks are. But nice patch, a lot of breaks, 3 colors, fantastic. Next card, just for Phil. No, Phil's new favorite player. Awesome, man. No, I saw this. It's stature. I am so in love with stature. Everything I see is stature. I want it. I think this looks great. Clean auto. We've had statue auto issues before where sometimes they fade or they bubbly, but that I think was the year before this card was made. The green, actually, I don't mind. It's out of 10, and it kind of color matches with the blue, or it's a complementary color, right? So it looks really nice.
Like Austin Matthews has been hitting the tanning booth there.
Tanning booth and a gaped hockey mouth. That's a new term for me. And final card. That's my bonus pick. Upper Deck. Or no, wait. 2023 Upper Deck. Is this extended? Jeez, I didn't even look what series it's from. No, it's probably not. Rookie Red, Young Guns for Hunter Shepard out of 25. Red Outburst. If you're not familiar with Shepard, so he's a Minnesota boy, played high school hockey at Grand Rapids, college hockey at UMD. I'm a big fan of this guy. He was one of these guys that worked his tail off. When he got out of high school, had 0 college offers. No one wanted him. No one looked at him. He started making phone calls to junior teams asking, hey, do you need a goalie, a third string? Just got on the phone, found someone finally that needed a goalie. So he goes, plays in juniors. His last year of eligibility, UMD eventually contacts him, and they're like, hey, we need a third string goalie. We think you'd be good at that role. He goes to UMD, becomes the starter, wins 2 national titles and 2 goaltender of the year awards. So I just
That's amazing.
I have a soft spot for this guy just because he's one of those guys that worked his tail off to get where he is.
What a great story, Troy. That was an awesome share. That was awesome.
That's
well, the only issue I have with this card and Hunter, who sounds like a swell kid, is the whole Grand Rapids thing. Now I'm from Hibbing. The hated rival of Hibbing is Grand Rapids.
There you go.
So
Hibbing?
Yeah.
Hibbing?
Yeah, Hibbing.
Hibbing. Hibing?
Nope. Hibbing.
Oh, Habibi.
The Blue Jackets, the original Blue Jackets, not Columbus.
Yeah, this is
good on him.
Another story about Hunter Shepard. I remember I went to my goalie training and the UMD goalie coach was there talking about Shepard. And after every game, I've mentioned this before, they said Shepard lost around 8 to 12 or 13 pounds per game. They'd weigh the players before and after, and he would lose, 12 pounds a game. They'd have to sit there afterwards and he'd have to drink water slowly and replenish before they'd let him leave because he lost so much weight.
Is he wearing the turtlenecks from back in the day? But
he might be. Well, now everyone's got to wear them again because I don't know if Hockey Canada went to it, but USA Hockey said in the National Federation of High School Sports, we got to have the neck guards now.
Yeah, it should. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did Washington just traded for a goalie too, didn't they?
Probably. I don't know.
I think one that we kind of know.
No, that was
Kemper's gone.
Yeah, I was
Kemper
thinking it's not Corpus.
No, we'll figure that
was
out
the other one. We'll figure it out.
You'll look it up. Okay, my 2 picks. So I about had an aneurysm when I first saw this card.
Wow.
Because I was like, holy moly, what is that patch? Do my kids really have to go to college? Could this honestly possibly be a Oli Lefsa, as I like to call it, Mario Lemieux, the Cup limited logos from 2010-11 out of 50 with a Stanley Cup patch?
Logan Thompson. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Logan Thompson. Oh, yeah. That was a whole kerfuffle about him signing autographs at the draft.
Yes. God, we're idiots. All right.
So then I went on like an hour-long deep dive trying to figure out where this patch is from. I don't think it is a patch from a Stanley Cup Finals game. I think they wore these patches on their jerseys the year after they won the cup in 92 or 91 for the 92-93 season. So it is a game used patch, of course, like with limited logos, but it's not from necessarily a Stanley Cup Finals game. I still think it's pretty dang awesome, though, and you can go back and the patch shows a guy holding up the Stanley Cup. You see kind of the bottom half, the P on the cup, and then it's like 1893 through 1993, I think were the years on the patch. But I don't know. I would love to have this card. I'd be curious to see what it goes for. And then the next one I had to go with is my boy Leon. It's a 2019-20, the Cup, Leon Draisaitl, limited logos out of 25. The patch is of the S from his jersey. And I'm actually not sure if you guys knew this, but this is actually a special patch that the Oilers put on Draisaitl's jersey to let everybody know he's a simp for Connor McDavid. my kids that would be funny. And that's the level of depth and detail that you get on the show. You get nowhere else. So those are my picks. Now we'll see what do you come up with, Phil?
Troy, you want to put them up there? Because I gotta forget. Oh, I love this card. Yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful card. It's a cup card. It kind of reminds me of a Champs in a weird way.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, in an odd way, but it's so if you're just listening, it's a cup card. It almost takes advantage of the full canvas, the 3x4 of the card with a very small border around the side, and it's just got Big Wayne in his blue Oilers jersey, looking all waned out. I don't know. I'd love anything in the Oilers jersey with a beautiful autograph is fantastic. I don't really care about the print run. I just love the auto and a good Wayne Gretzky hard auto hockey card.
The blue tux.
Skates. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
Blue tux.
You don't see too many cup cards that look like this. What year is this from, actually?
I don't know because it didn't say in the listing. So it's part of the 2015 Upper Deck buybacks.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And it's autoed. So it's one of the base cards that was then bought back, autoed by Gretzky, and now it's hand numbered out of 5. The other thing that I've seen a few times that just fascinates me about this card, and I don't know what to do about it. It's hard to see in the photo, but the base cards are all serial numbered. So this card is like double serial numbered.
Oh, yeah.
It's like out of 299 or 199, but then it's also out of 5.
Well,
so how do we process that, boys?
Well, it's what you said. It's the base came out, they bought it back, and then he signed it with the 1 out of 5. And then they put the base card back out in the wild. No, isn't that how that would work? Every base card's numbered. Every base card's numbered in the cup.
So if you own this and went to sell it, would you say it's out of 5 or out of 299?
I would say it's out of 5, but a base. Okay, hold on. No, I got this. I got a good answer. I would say, hello, my name's Phil. I have a Wayne Gretzky base cup card that was a buyback from Upper Deck that is numbered out of 5. Boom, sign it.
Yeah, with an auto. Yeah.
Auto, yeah. Did I say that? Whatever.
Maybe.
He just puts the 1 out of 5 and doesn't sign it. There you go, bud. All right, next one. Oh, yeah, I bought this card because I thought of you, Troy.
There you go.
So I don't pick cards I'm bidding on. I hope that's okay. I love the hobby, but not that much. Yeah, I'm bidding on a card. I'm not telling you guys what it is. I'll tell you next week. So what you're seeing on here is a horizontal cup card that doesn't look like a cup card, but it is. And it's Grant Fuhrer when he played for St. Louis, which I always forget.
St. Louis legend.
Yeah.
St. Louis legend.
And it's got a patch. I don't know. Yeah, it's got to be game used if it's cup. And it's kind of cheesy, but I like it. What year is it, Troy?
It is a 2020 cup.
Yeah, so 20
piece of stick, right? It's a piece of the stick.
They didn't get him to auto it. I'm pretty sure Grant Fuhrer's not doing much right now. He could have autoed that.
Yeah, I got a Grant Fuhrer auto in what? SP Legends, I think. I got
Yeah, you got the Future Watch.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's good, Troy.
It's a nice looking card. I agree with you though. It doesn't. Maybe some like cup. What do you call them? Like cup traditionalists might not like it, but
yeah, Grotman wouldn't like this. Grotman wouldn't like this card.
No, he's got. Oh, maybe if it's in the cup, but he was just posting some stick stuff on his Instagram.
Yeah, but it's too white. I like the cup. I like dark and mysterious. You know,
yeah.
I want dark. I exquisite would be nice if it was bright. And
are we putting the bad stick? Mitch, let us know if you like this.
yeah. I don't think he will.
Well, those are our picks. And if you're like Phil, well, let's be honest, nobody's like Phil. But if you're Canadian like Phil, You might be looking to move some of your cards for cash. We'd all recommend checking out Slapshark's eBay consignment services. They make it very, very easy to sell your cards on eBay. You just mail them, drop them off at a card show, and they take care of the rest. They take the photos, complete the listings, answer the buyer questions, hunt down payment from winners, ship to Canada or the US, and then handle any post-sale issues. Sounds pretty good to me. For complete consignment information and to start the process today, head to slapsharks.com. Happy news!
Happy news! Troy.
Happy news.
Oh.
All right. Well, it's that time. We're going to do a very, very quick Road to Infinity update. We've also decided to move this to once per week. Last show, I think. When the Connor Bedard Base Young Guns PSA 10 does hit a pop count of 4,000 or higher, will that be today? So, let's find out. Per our last update, boys, the PSA 10 pop count for the Bedsy Young Guns reached a whopping 3,927 to 73 PSA 10 short of 4K. As of the most current PSA pop reports, and is certified by all surviving members of Earth, Wind, and Fire, the PSA 10 pop count for the Connor Bedard Base Young Guns is drumroll / motorboat, Troy. Oh, there we go. There's a new one. All right, here we go. Here we go. It is up to 4,077 PSA.
Oh, are some of those E-packs coming through? Is 150 the biggest jump in a little bit?
Yeah, 150 is probably the biggest jump in a little bit. So 4,077. And now to date, 8,920 copies of this card have been graded, giving us a current gem rate of 45.7%. In case anyone's wondering, too, the highest pop count for any hockey card at any single grade is the 2015 Upper Deck McDavid Young Guns BGS 9.5, for which there are 7,789 copies of that card. So we're still a little bit of ways from that with the Bedard, but we're more than halfway there. So there we go. Our next Road to Infinity update will be next week.
Nice.
Does this make you guys want to get this card? Every week I just want
I have no interest.
And less.
I have zero interest in getting a Bedard Young Guns now.
I really want the silver outburst.
Yeah, me too. I think out of 250, that's out of two. That can be out of 250. No,
it has the same odds as like the French did. It basically replaced the French. So
I want 1 out of 250. Is that the deluxe?
Deluxe.
Yeah, I want a deluxe.
I would assume those have come down quite a bit in price too.
Never looked.
Yeah, me neither.
Never looked.
Well, Troy, we had the draft on Friday night, and you prepared a little recap. So why don't we roll through that?
I think so. I did do a little bit of recap. No, I did watch. I watched. I don't know. I think I made it through the Wilds pick and then kind of tailed off from there. But did you guys watch? I'm assuming both of you saw night one, right?
Yeah.
A little bit.
We were chatting.
Okay. Saw night one. So here's my recap. I will say they should have the draft every year at the Sphere in Las Vegas because it looked absolutely amazing. I'm gonna show you some pictures. Like that Sphere place is something else. Like here's the outside of it. If you're watching on YouTube, they had the big logo on the outside of the building. And then while the draft is going on, they played it on the outside of the building. So they had like, I think ESPN's feed, but the real like inside when they showed the graphics, like the NHL spent some money. They went nuts. They did not cheap out, which was good for them. Like you can see these pictures. It's just amazing. And my favorite, like this one was pretty cool. This was pretty cool. And then this one, I loved when they did these with the draft orders or who was being picked. Because Spears like a circular around it would round through and it just looked awesome. So kudos to
the Sphere is basically a giant planetarium, right?
Yeah, it's like an Epcot Center if you're familiar with that big ball, or the Swedish Globe Arena. I don't know what it's called now. It's probably got some sponsor, but it's like a big ball, and it's really cool. It is like super cool. So that was by far have it at the Sphere every year, but more on that in a little bit. And I'm not going to recap every pick, just kind of look at some of the stuff that happened in mostly the first round, but we'll talk a little bit about some later stuff. So Sharks take Macklin Celebrini, no surprise to absolutely anyone. I think he seems like a franchise player. I obviously don't know that much about him, and I just pray that the Sharks don't screw him up. That's all I can really say about Macklin Celebrini.
Have you guys seen anything yet about what his plans are? Like, because he was the
like you were
youngest
saying,
player
maybe go back
in
to
college.
Boston.
He's gonna go back. Yeah, he'll go back. I think so.
Yeah, I think he should. Just with the
he's little, man. They need that man body, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's tiny.
Yeah. Second pick, defenseman by the Chicago Blackhawks was here's Troy trying to say names. Artyom, was it Levshinov?
Oh, that was good, Troy.
Yeah, well, there we go. That one looks like it says like it spells basically. But yeah, that was second pick. Then we have probably one of the all-time greatest moments ever at an NHL draft.
Wild.
So number 3 pick is the Ducks select forward Bennett, and I think it's
Beckett, right?
Or Beckett. Sorry, why did I say Bennett? I wrote Beckett. Senek, who they announced the name, and the camera pans to this guy, this kid, and he looks like he had seen a ghost, mouth agape, just staring like off into the distance. So I'm guessing he didn't think he would go that high. And then you proceed to read his lips where he says, "Oh my God, holy bleep," starts with an F. We're a family show. I absolutely love this. I think everyone loved it. Everyone was just like, read his lips. The announcers were going crazy. So one of the best moments ever.
He said, "Holy refrigerator."
Yeah, holy refrigerator. But I don't know if either of you guys. I didn't. Obviously, Phil. I think you saw this. I don't know if you saw it, Josh.
Oh,
I saw it. It was classic.
Yeah, it was amazing. And one note too, like going back to Celebrini and Levshinov, it was back-to-back picks, number 1 and 2 for NCAA players.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, good point, Josh. Yeah, that's true, eh? Look at that. America's coming on up.
America. All right. So that was that might have been my favorite moment. 5th pick, Montreal brings out Celine Dion to read the pick.
Oh my gosh.
So I'll say this. It was fun. Whatever. They did it. She's a Canadiens fan, but it was actually good to see her. She looked good with all the health problems. She's got stiff person syndrome, which I don't think any of us ever want to get. So it was good to see her out there. Hey, bring some celebrities out. You never know what's going to happen.
She's a national treasure in Canada.
Yeah.
Like her or hate her, she's a national treasure in Canada, and she's passionate about what she does. You can't knock somebody for passion, right?
Yep. Agree. So 6th pick, Utah takes, how do you say his first name? Tij Iginla. So they take Jerome's son, and everyone in Calgary probably gets sad because they wanted
4 and 5, Troy.
What? I'm not going through everything.
Oh, well, you got to do Demidov.
Oh, tell us about Demidov then.
Yep, go.
Okay, so Demidov. Sorry, I'm not trying to steal your thunder there, Troy. But when the Ducks picked Senek, I couldn't believe it, and then because I thought they were going to pick Demidov, and then Columbus picked was it Lindstrom? I don't know. They picked the Columbus didn't pick Demidov, and then Montreal probably just listen. Demidov is the real deal. If you watch highlights of him, Ivan Demidov, I believe. For Montreal, I'll just leave you with this. For Montreal to pick 2 Russians in the first round 2 years in a row is insane. And they did that. That's how good this kid is. I think he's going to be the star of the draft, to be honest. I don't want him to be, but he's probably going to be.
Is he a KHLer then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So either I'm so wrong, absolutely wrong.
Kaprizov over there for 5 years.
We could have another Yakupov. I don't know, right? I have no idea. But
no, you never know.
This kid he's meaner. I don't know. He does. I did a lot of little research for the draft coming up, and I love this guy. I was blown away when I couldn't believe he wasn't picked top 3. Blown away. All right, sorry, Troy. Go ahead.
All right, so at 6, Utah takes Iginla, right? Jerome.
Wait, what's his dad's name, Troy?
Jerome Iginla. I got it now.
You got it now.
Yeah, I won't mess that up anymore. So Calgary fans get sad. The best moment of that whole thing was when the Utah owner, is it Ryan Smith, I believe, got booed. And he just like looks at everyone. He's like, "You can't boo me. We haven't done anything yet. Wait till we do something, then boo me." I thought that was pretty funny. But obviously, being in Vegas, Utah is the national rival, right? Just by geographic location. Then Phil, what draft pick did Ottawa have?
7.
Okay, you want to talk? I skipped over. I went to the Wilds next.
Troy, I would never do that to the. Do you want to know something? Lately this week, Hasselhoff and I were talking about how our second favorite team is slowly becoming Minnesota for love of family reasons. You know what? Maybe not anymore. Because I know you like Toronto more than Ottawa. Yeah, big shot. Rockets fired. Yes, Yakimchuk at number 7. That's who we picked from the Calgary Hitmen. quite a few people were upset because we left like Celiev on the board. We left Dickinson on the board. Other defensemen that might be better today, but probably have hit more of their ceiling potential as well. So Yakimchuk is a big brooding force from the Calgary Hitmen. He's mean. He's got a bomb shot. He likes to hit people, and his ceiling is very high. He has a great potential. So I think the Sens took a nice risk.
Were you happy with defense there?
Yeah, we need defense. This guy's not going to play for a couple of years, but you know, I like a GM that has foresight, you know. So, yeah,
awesome. All right, that's our Ottawa pick, and then the Wild we got our D-man, I think. Zeev. Is that how you say his first name? Zeev. Yeah, Zeev. Is it Boyum?
Yeah, you're gonna be very happy with him. He's phenomenal. So people wanted him before our guy.
Yeah, I mean, we got him at number 12 because we had to trade our 13th pick to Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and then Philly swapped with us, and then we gave him a third rounder for
next year.
Maybe next year, 2025.
He's a stud. You guys are gonna love him.
He's only size, right? Size is his issue. It's like 6 feet.
Yeah, maybe something like that. But he led the NCAA for defensemen in points. He was a freshman
for sure,
and he had a game-winning goal in this NCAA championship. So,
we should be happy.
He's a gamer. He's a gamer,
definitely. So again, I'm not going through every pick. So first round. So there were 7 trades on day one, but they all involved pick spots. No players were traded on day one, which was kind of sad. And then after the first day, they started doing some more deals. Boy, these names are just getting crazier. Beck Valenstein goes from Washington to Buffalo for a second-round pick. And then Utah decided to make a couple moves. They get Mikhail Sergachev from the Lightning for picks and players. And then Utah also got John Marino from the Devils for picks. And then Tanner Jeannot was dealt by the Kings, but dealt to the Kings from the Lightning for a second-round pick in 2025 and the 118th pick in this year's draft. And then some other highlights. Montreal took Saku Koivu's son. Did you see that? Thought that was cool. And then
Atos, is that?
Yeah, Atos Koivu.
Oh.
And then here we go. With the 58th pick, the Maple Leafs decided to stall and started getting booed wildly by the fans. And then Bill Daly gets ticked off and he basically yells at Toronto from the stage. He's like, get your pick in or we're going to move on or something. And I guess the Leafs ended up trading away the pick. But it's just hilarious. And the jokes come out. You see everyone on Twitter going, well, why would the Maple Leafs know how to do a second round pick when they can never get to the second round? And just all the stuff was coming out. It was pretty funny.
If you need any more, you don't need any more proof that they think the world revolves around them, eh? I am the main character.
There you go. And then here's the crazy thing. So love the spirit, love the draft. However, this might be the last centralized draft, as it seems like the NHL might move to a decentralized model. I guess they had a vote by the teams, and the teams want to go to a decentralized model. So who knows what happens?
What does that mean?
Where you're basically at your offices.
Oh, like a Zoom party draft?
Basically, and everyone's on the phone and all that
lame.
stuff. Or you might have like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they have a representative at a spot, but this was great. I loved Vegas and how they set it up.
No, we need more stuff like this, not less.
Yeah,
no,
we need more events to help create. Nobody cares about Zoom. Like we show pictures from the 2020 draft where like the players are in their living room and like dad's got like Phil with his like bare feet up on the desk there, and that's a horrible choice.
No,
if they were to do that.
Oh man, what do they do? You know what? What do they do to people when you do bad things? They isolate you, right? They put you, what do you do? What do they do to bad people in prison? They put them in even smaller rooms away from other people.
Yeah.
We're humans. We need to be around other humans, or problems will happen. I mean, that's so silly. That's so silly.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at with the draft. I looked at one guy on the Athletic, Scott Wheeler, who I love. He does the best draft overviews. Him and Corey Pronman. But Wheeler, I just wanted to see who he said won the draft with their picks or the winners. He had San Jose, Anaheim, Minnesota, Calgary, Chicago, and Montreal. And then for losers, he said were Philadelphia and Toronto.
Good.
So that's what he came up with. There were some, he had like overtime winners and overtime losers. I'm not going to get into all that, but I'm happy to see Minnesota on the winners list. So that's good.
I was surprised how in our chats, how you're a pretty big draft guy, huh, Phil?
Yeah, I like
You
it.
seem
I
to
like
know,
it a lot.
you seem to know. Now, do you follow all throughout the year and kind of
I used
know who
to.
these? Okay.
I used to, yeah. So I'm kind of just scrambling a couple of weeks. Ever since I started my business, 7, 8 years ago, whatever it is now, 9, 10.
Yeah.
It's hard to really
Yeah.
get into it, but I'm a big 67s guy, and the tickets are cheap to go to local hockey, and kind of always have gone. So I really like junior hockey. Yeah, and these kids are they're working hard to get where they're at. I hear a lot of knocks on them. Hockey's an expensive sport, so
Yeah,
sure.
it's not easy. So a lot of these boys have more well-off families, and they get a lot of knocks on them, and it's interesting to see how they just plow right through it. They like Celebrini. He's pretty loaded. His dad does well. I think his Golden State Warriors management there, and even my guy Yakimchuk, his dad owns a bunch of Burger Kings out in the West Coast. So
Okay.
these kids are doing good. So I don't know if they have that much traditional adversity.
Yeah.
But I like to see, how things roll out for them. Yeah.
Okay. So knowing that you're probably the most attuned of anyone to the draft, last year was pretty unique from looking at like the hobby point of view, in that we had a bunch of guys at the top of the draft ended up starting right away.
Yeah, it
in
was
the
good.
NHL. You had
Yeah.
Leo Carlson, Adam Fantilli, Connor Bedard, of course. Is there anyone in the top 10 or 15 picks that you see starting with their
Was Cooley
team?
last year? Cooley was last year, right? Or was it the year
No,
before?
he was the year before.
Year before,
He
yeah.
went back to, he was the number 3 pick.
I'm a
in
big
20
Fantilli guy, man. I think he's just gonna rock it out. Give him a year or two. Bedard's obviously the top pick, but if I was a betting man, there was.
Well,
No,
what
I'm
about
gonna
from this
see that
draft
out.
though? Like, are any of these guys that were just taken? Do you see them starting with their team? Like, who's ready to play now?
Yes, I do. I see 2 guys. Hold on, let me pull it up. There was a big boy. So I'll
What
tell
about
you
the
who's.
Chicago defenseman, number 2?
Yeah,
From Michigan State.
Troy, you said. Yeah, so he's one of them, and there's another guy. Was it Dickinson? Sam Dickinson? There's
Sam
another.
Dixon, San Jose.
I believe. Did he go to San Jose? Yeah.
Or yeah. Well,
no, I don't think so, Troy.
Well, here it says San Jose, and then it says Buffalo to San Jose. Did he get traded? Did the pick get traded? San Jose took him. I hate how the NHL can never get anything right.
There was the second name is I'm pretty sure it was Dickinson. But a lot
it's
of
not going to be like last year though, where we had tons of star power
No.
that we knew would end up being young guns in the 2023-24 releases at some point.
Yeah.
San Jose got Dickinson.
Yeah, so I could see him. I could see him if he impresses at training camp, they would probably give him a shot. They would. Like Zach Parekh, I can't say his name very well. He's a defenseman. He has the best skill, I think, in the top of the draft, but I don't think he can play. He's too little. Celebrini's too little. He's going to go back to Boston for sure.
Like, I know our guy Zeev is going back to Denver.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Man, I'm so happy for you guys. He's going to be great. He's going to be good. You guys should be happy.
Anything else on the draft before we move on?
Nah. I think it was a very good overall. Like, what was it? There was projected top 10 out of the 15 were going to be defensemen, and it wasn't. It was far forward. I don't know.
Yeah.
There was a funny stat like that. Yeah. A lot of good D. It'll be, I like this year's draft much better than last year's. More cream.
Okay. Well, before the draft on Thursday night was another big night in the NHL where we had the major awards, like from the old Christmas Story reference there, and trophies were given out for the 2023-24 season. Now, in the least shocking development since Troy, this joke didn't age well, butchered Jerome McGinley's name. Connor Bedard is your 2024 Calder Trophy winner.
He's grown a mustache and a tattoo.
I think he's really feeling himself in Las Vegas. This is what happens when Josh has too much time on the weekends and goes nuts in the photo software. Do you like this look for Bedard, Phil, or would you prefer the more?
No, it looks like he was hanging out with Matthews and Bieber. Yeah, bad influences. We want successful people around Connor.
Matthews and Bieber had a kid.
Oh.
All right. Well, again, not a surprise, but it does check the box, right? For everyone that expected everything that people have expected him to accomplish. I assume nobody has any issues with this one. There's no bitterness for our boy Brock Faber or brother Luke. Is everyone on board with Bedard for Calder?
Yeah, well, sure.
Yeah, I knew he'd. I mean, he'd win it. He had to.
How many games did he miss at the end there? Like 22, 23?
Yeah, because he played, what, 61? Is that how many he played?
68 games played. So he had 22 goals, 49 assists for 61 points in 68 games played. Here's where I start to get. I love Connor Bedard. I watched him a bunch. I was amazed. I think he's a super talent. But when you look at the numbers, it's a little So 61 points, guys, is the 117th most by a rookie in league history. Is that impressive?
Yeah, I think that's not fair though, because he missed 20 some games, right, with that broken face. So I think you have to look at. I wonder what it is if you look.
If you win points per game, it's. I don't think it's top 20 either.
Ooh.
Well, that's fine, but it's higher than 117th. I gotta believe.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not good, but I don't think he had like the greatest rookie season of all time.
Oh, I agree. I think 117th for points is kind of unfair
on a super crappy team too, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't justify $1,000 Young Gun base card, though.
Very true.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, he is a 2023-24 Young Guns PSA 10 pop. What do we say? 4,077, 45.7% gem rate. That's over 760 US on June 26th.
Coming down. Keeps coming
up about 2% in the past 2 weeks, down 54% in the past 3 months.
What does a raw one go for these days?
$300 or less, probably.
American?
I think it's less than 300 because it was going. There was some sales going less than the box cost, and the box was at $290. I think it was dropping to. I don't know what they're at now.
I was listening to Jay's podcast, Top Shelf Cookie Sniper. Oh, I said that right.
Yep.
Yeah, he and I'm sorry, he did. I listened today, and on Tuesday he has a couple of sales sub 300.
Yeah,
on raw. So yeah, it has broken that $300 barrier.
Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on. In another devastating loss, the second this week for Connor McDavid, he did not win his 4th Hart Trophy. Yeah, no, Troy, very, very shocking. McDavid lost out on the award to Nathan McKinnon, who took home the Hart Memorial Trophy and the Ted Lindsay Award. Remember, those are basically the 2 MVP awards. The Hart is voted on by a media or general manager or something like that. And then the Ted Lindsay, in my mind, is almost more important. That's the player vote as far as the best player in the league. Now, I predicted on our last show that McKinnon would win, so I'm 2 for 2 now. Feeling myself a little bit there. McKinnon is 28 years old, 3rd Avs player to ever win the Hart Trophy. Phil, do you know the other 2 Avs players to win the Hart?
Ray Bourque and Joe Sakic?
Close. Sakic and Forsberg.
Ah, fine.
He led the league in shots this season with 405. Finished the year with 51 goals, 89 assists for 140 points in 82 games played. Good enough for 4th in goals in the NHL and 2nd in points. So what do you guys think? Deserving of the award for McKinnon this year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a 2013 Young Guns PSA 10 pop 1,610, 54% gem rate, last sold for $600 on June 16th, up about 2% over the past month. Also, not a ton of significant McKinnon sales since he won the Hart. Okay, we're going to go on to the James Norris Memorial Trophy, which is awarded annually to the NHL's or National Hockey League's top defense player who demonstrates throughout the season the greatest all-around ability in the position. That's a quote from Wikipedia. Like Kucherov, Troy, right?
There you go. Greatest defenseman ever. That's never got the award. Why is that?
I wanted to find the clip for this. I'd messaged Troy a little bit. It was very, very early on.
Yes.
Well, new to the show, as in newer than our 5th episode, where we've been doing predictions for awards, and Troy predicted Kucherov to win the Norris.
Oh, I heard it. Yeah, I know.
and it took me we went another, I think, 30 minutes before I realized my mistake.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, that's not what I was meant. I think I was thinking Hedman. I think I was thinking Victor Hedman when I said that.
I wanted to clip it, and I spent half
You
hour
couldn't find
maybe.
it?
Going through old. I could not find it.
Oh.
I had to stop though because I've never wanted to throw myself off of a top building more than listening to our old episodes. It was so painful.
Yeah, we were not good.
I can't believe. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Phil, and anyone else that
Sticking with you.
Oh my god.
One
so
of the people. You're one of the people. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Kucherov didn't win it. This year's candidates were new Bobby Orr, Cale Makar,
Nice.
Quinn Hughes, and then Roman Yossi, who's awesome, but let's be honest, never had a chance in the first place,
Yeah.
right? Roman Yossi was never winning this award. It wasn't gonna happen. In yet another shocking event, Quinn Hughes denies the Wonderkind Makar his second Norris Trophy by winning his first. He became the first Canucks player ever to win the Norris Trophy. That's kind of cool. Coming off his best season in the NHL, where he had 17 goals, 75 assists for 92 points in 82 games played, all career highs for both goals, assists, and points. Basically, if you use like point per game average for the shortened COVID season, every single year Quinn Hughes has played in the league, his production has increased. So he's just getting better and better. Now, is it enough to move the hobby needle for him? Did it elevate him at all in the NHL and hobby? I don't know. I think it does kind of seem like, though, that we're a little bit getting set up now for him and Makar to kind of duke out the Norris for the next 5, 6, 7 years. Doesn't it seem like that to you guys?
Well, I'm always hoping my boy Jake Sanderson steps up, but
okay,
I'm a Makar guy over Brother Hughes there.
You are? How come?
Yeah. I don't know. I really like Makar. I just watching him during the pandemic there, and when he won it all was pretty amazing. It was magical. It's still sticking in my head. And you know what? I don't see a lot of Quinn Hughes games, so I don't really like Vancouver. Does anybody? Does anybody like the Canucks? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, all those West Coast teams, if you're not on the West Coast,
it's
are really hard to ever see them play.
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes, the 2019 Young Guns PSA 10 pop, 2,853, 63% gem rate, last sold for $164 on June 26th. Up about 10% in the past 2 weeks, but down 10% overall in the past 3 months. Okay, one more. The last major award we'll cover is the Vezina Trophy. Prize Trophy is the goalie connoisseur here.
Yeah.
Remember, the 3 candidates this year were Thatcher Demko, Connor Hellebuck, and Sergei Bobrovsky. NHL GMs vote on this award, and 31 of the 32 voted for Connor Hellebuck, who's our 2024 Vezina Trophy winner. He's now a 2-time Vezina winner, having won it in 2020, I believe, as well. Only the 7th American goalie to win the Vezina Trophy, and the 23rd NHL goalie now who has won at least 2 Vezinas. Hellebuck finished the regular season 37-19-4 with a 2.39 goals against, .921 save percentage. Now remember, the Vezina is a regular season award, and good thing for Hellebuck it was, because in the playoffs, he had 1 win in 5 games played with a 5.23 goals against average and a .870 save percentage.
Oh my God, that's not good.
Yeah, a little rough in the second season there that was basically against the Oilers, wasn't it? Where they were kind of just teed off on him. And Hellebuck is a 2015-16 Young Guns PSA 10, pop 470, 50% gem rate, less sold for $64.
Yep.
Up 38% in the past 2 weeks, but still down 40% over the past 3 months, which is a little hard to wrap your head around that. What's your opinion on Hellebuck, Phil? Is he just sort of lost in the sauce there in Winnipeg, or is he maybe overrated in your opinion? Or
no, I think he's great. Wouldn't you? I'd kill for Hellebuck. Yeah, absolutely. I actually have been picking up some of his cards a little bit here and there.
Really?
A little bit. Wow, Parker's Champions patch auto. But yeah, his cards are dirt cheap, man. I picked up an exquisite patch auto as well. I got it for like $135. Or no, not a patch. It's not. Oh no, it is a patch. It is. It's a game used patch. Yeah, I got it. I got it under $200. The hobby doesn't.
That's Canadian,
like
right?
Yeah, Canadian. Yeah, I got it at the show in Montreal. So he's in Winnipeg. No one really cares. And but you know what? Winnipeg, everybody likes Winnipeg. I've never heard of someone in Ottawa or Canada kind of saying like, "Oh, I can't stand the Jets." I mean, what do you not like about him? He's a great goalie. He's a good guy. Personable. We'll pretend the playoffs didn't happen this year. I kind of felt bad for him. Yeah, you're right. You said it best. They just teed off on him.
Yeah.
No, he's good. Solid.
Are you a Hellbuck guy, Troy?
Yep, I love Hellebuck. Any American goalie I'm usually rooting for. And so I've brought this up, but USA Hockey has this big initiative, 51 and 30, where they want 51% of all NHL minutes and I think PWHL minutes played by American goalies by 2030.
All right, let's settle down. Let's settle down here.
Hey, American goalies are starting to come through, though. It's
who was your first? Like Mike Richter? Would he be your first big one?
Richter. Well, I don't ask me this stuff. I mean,
no,
that matter way back in time, but Richter.
No, this guy's Barrasso.
Richter was before Barrasso, though. For the Rangers, I believe he was trying to think of American goalies.
I thought Barrasso was in the 80s.
I was thinking of Van Beesbroek.
Oh, really?
Just like I'm trying to think of like top goalies. No, Barrasso was before.
Oh, okay.
Before Richter for sure. I read there at the same time. I don't know. I'm looking at the name of U.S. goalies. So like Van Beesbroek, Ryan Miller, Jonathan Quick, Barrasso, Craig Anderson, Richter, Glenn Chico Resch, Jim Howard.
How could we forget him?
Frank Brimsack, Hellebuck, Guillabert. I didn't know.
Guillabert is American?
Yeah, I guess so.
Crazy.
John Gibson, Tim Thomas, John Casey, North Star, Ben Bishop. So
Tim Thomas, that crazy man.
So yeah.
You'd have to assume Hellebuck too he's kind of the odds-on favorite to be Team USA's starting goal in the Olympics, isn't he?
I think so.
I'd hope so.
Who would be the alternative?
Swayman, maybe.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll see next year. You better do good because we got your other one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Mark.
Okay. Oh, did we get your feedback on that last time? How long ago was it? Did you give us your read on that, or was that when you weren't here, Phil?
Oh, to me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I wasn't here, but I probably said everything. I'm very excited. I'm very happy to have top 3 goaltender in the NHL on my hockey team. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very happy. Good trade. Kastelik, see you later. Fan favorite. Bye-bye.
Do you bring up? Do we? Oh, are we in? Oh, yeah.
Well, it's hard. We talk off podcast too, right? So we don't know what we said on podcast.
Yeah. Well, it's like if I'm a Boston fan, I would be furious.
Well,
they got
Bobby,
nothing.
Friend of the channel, he privately messaged me some things I cannot repeat, but he ended it.
They got nothing. They got nothing in return.
Yeah, he ended it with "I love you, Phil. I'm just very upset." And I'm like, "That's okay. We'll talk tomorrow."
Got the worst statistical like. I was watching Spin Chicklets and they were just going nuts. It's like you got the worst statistical goalie in return.
Oh my goodness! When Hasselhoff told me, he's like, "Dad, we got rid of Korpisalo and we only kept 25." I thought he was yanking my chain, but no, it's true. And Allmark, he's so happy to come to Ottawa, and he's the number one, right? Of Forsberg, he's our backup. Everybody knows our roles. Life is so much easier when you know what is asked of you, right? Allmark wants to be the number one. He's gonna be. It's on him now. And he's got the right attitude. And he's Swedish. I mean, he's a Swedish goalie. They're good. Unless your name's Korpisalo.
All right. Well, all this kind of sets up, right? We've talked about the draft. We've talked about awards. We've talked about free agency so far on this show. And there's a topic that I've been thinking about for a long time now that I wanted to bring up today. And it is, well, here it is. It's what actually does move the hobby needle. Because we often hear references to stuff like, well, winning an Art Ross and Hart Trophy or Stanley Cup or getting in the Hall of Fame, traded, goals, points, market, or hype are all factors that might move the hobby needle for any given player's values. I feel like many cases now, though, especially over the last year, Troy, particularly in doing the show, we see something significant happens, like winning the Art Ross or whatever, and you feel like, okay, now let's see what the hobby impact is. And it's like nothing.
Yeah. I feel like the market's more efficient and it's just, that stuff's already baked in. It seems like it's just a lot smarter.
So you felt this way too?
Yeah. Troy, we've done it. We've done enough on the show where we've looked at this player that won this award, did this, and nothing happens. It's like, okay, I think I don't think it's a prevalent thing anymore.
Yeah, we've had a full week of huge events now in the NHL, and in theory, right, these should have affected players' hobby markets. So we have Florida wins the Stanley Cup. I haven't seen many, if any, big Matthew Tkachuk sales, like none. Right? No records, nothing like that. Nathan McKinnon, we just talked about, wins his first Hart Trophy this week. Cleans it up too with the Ted Lindsay too. Has 50 goals, 140 points. He's already a Stanley Cup champion. And his hobby market in the last couple days, nothing. It's just crazy. Then you have like Pavel Datsyuk and Jeremy Roenick make the Hall of Fame. Not much going on there too. So we've all been trained around this idea that these type of events or milestones or whatever they are matter. But I have to ask, really, do they? Was this more of like a pandemic phenomenon where everything was going up so fast? Anyways, that things like winning the Hart or winning a Stanley Cup or getting the Hall of Fame had more of an impact. And then to your point, Troy, we keep hearing stuff like, well, cups and MVPs are baked in, like it's expected and already reflected in someone's pricing, like McDavid winning a Stanley Cup. I don't know if that's too soon or what, but in the goals record. So I just have to ask, like, are we past the point where this type of stuff really matters? And if it does, then what does matter? What does move the hobby needle? And so I've been walking little Kobe the puppy here the last couple of days, really trying to think about this. And well, I don't know if he's thinking about the same thing too. I doubt it. He's a dog. We don't talk, but I have two conclusions that I want to run by you guys and then get your thoughts. So here's conclusion number one. The most important factor in hobby market movement is hype, which is hard to identify, impossible to measure, not easy to define, but you kind of know when it's there. And then you also know when it's not there too. And I would define, as I keep coming back and trying to refine my thoughts around hype, it's like if it's a player under 24 years old, the hype is driven by potential. If a player is over 25, hype is driven by whether or not they're kind of in or slated for GOAT or legendary status, right? And as the market tightens more and more, and more we're seeing the variety of cards being produced, like we've been talking about, I think the other conclusion that I've come up with is legendary players combined in legendary cards will drive market momentum. There's a lot of noise out there right now with cards of great players that is just not real special cards that I think are going to get lost in the sauce as time moves forward. And we brought this up before and we had kind of an example of it today, Phil, in your Slab Sharks picks. It's like, to me, Gretzky auto cards are so hard to, because every set has at least one Gretzky auto, and after year after year after year, set after set after set, now we're getting to the point where we have, if I want a Gretzky auto, how do I possibly choose other than, which one I like the best, which probably is the best way to go anyways. But to know which one of these is going to be stand out or be significant or be sought after years down the road, it's getting harder to tell which cards are really special. And like where I would point to a great example with you, Phil, is you've been collecting a lot of the exquisite 03 retro patches, right? There's an example of, I think, identifying or cutting through the noise, identifying a set of cards that we know, who knows what's going to happen in the overall market, but that's going to be a pretty cool card, a very highly thought of and sought after card 5 years from now in comparison with everything else out there. So that's what I've come down to, that you either got to have a ton of hype because you're a young prospect who people think of it, dream of what you can become. You're in that GOAT legendary status, or you're a really great player and an amazing card combo. And I can't think of anything else that moves the hobby needle to this point. So I want to get your guys' reactions to that. And you tell me where you think I'm right or wrong.
I always think so hype, I was going to say popularity. It doesn't same thing, hype, popularity, there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just as confused as everybody. I have no idea. I think markets too. Like, look at Barkov. He for the last 10 years has been top 5 best players in the entire NHL. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Sick patches. Well, Grotman cares. Mitch Grotman cares. But other than Mitch, no one else cares. Every game I've seen Barkov play, he's phenomenal. Did you see the Florida Panthers parade today? Not many people showed up, man. A good amount did, but nothing like it would have in Edmonton. Would have been a national holiday in Edmonton.
Yeah.
So I think it's popularity, it's market. I love how you said, Josh, you know, you can't, it's not, hype is not tangible, but you can feel it, right? So it's, I don't know, man.
Even,
I don't
even
know.
like McKinnon to me he's in a great hockey market that has a huge collecting base.
Yeah.
I mean, not like Toronto, but for, you know, definitely in that like second tier. He's an amazing, other than McDavid, he's probably the most jaw-dropping player to watch.
Yeah, his speed is unbelievable.
You're just like, holy cow. At 140 points, 50 goals. And why doesn't anyone care about this guy in the hobby?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's so weird, man. Yeah, but maybe it's hard to spell his last name looking for cards. Like, is it McKinnon? I don't know. I'm reaching now. I'm pulling out straws. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. People go after Pavel Bure cards more than Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah.
It's wild, man.
100%.
Yeah.
What do you think about all this, Troy?
Well, I can tell you one thing that can make your hobby needle go the other way, and that's be investigated by Hockey Canada and then have your name put in the headlines. Look at Carter Hart values.
Oh.
That thing just fell off a cliff. So
innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, but that's one way to go the other way, is have something come out negative about you, so you go down. On the other side, it was funny, you're talking about the Wayne Gretzky's, and it's kind of funny. Wayne Gretzky autograph cards are like a commodity. You can get them anytime, any day on eBay, 24 hours a day. They're always available. And so but
there is a range though. Like what I've noticed doing with WCC Joe and Jeremy is probably in the low end, they go for like 400 US, but then they'll go 1,200-1,500 US on the high end too. Right. So you got to pick and choose wisely if building value, or if you're in like the sort of investing or flip kind of game. I just think it's harder and harder to, like, I don't know how you're a flipper or investor anymore.
Yeah.
Because
I loved your age breakdown thing. It kind of makes sense. I mean, obviously it's not a hard and fast rule. It can move either way with guys, but it kind of makes sense. It is. It's like all hype or popularity, I guess. Is that what you said, Phil?
Yeah, I was looking for more general.
No. That's a great term, because we've seen it. We've seen guys that, I mean, look at Bedard. I mean, he's priced in like he's going to be the Hall of Famer, multiple cups right now. And obviously that's not the case until it happens, but it's hype and potential.
Like, Josh, you know how you said I'm buying those 03 exquisite designs cards? Part of my biggest reason for that is I love the design. I love how clean it is. I love how uniform it is, how consistent that design is. A big bonus for me is that those cards, I do agree with you, in 5, 10, 15 years, we'll have the test of longevity. And that's good for my pocket, my wallet, I guess. But that's not the first reason I collect those cards. It's just not. And I think a lot of I'm just trying to go on what you were saying, Troy, with flippers. They're not, I don't think they're looking at things through the lenses we are. They're looking at the hype, the popularity. They're not looking at, well, if I hold this for 5 years, it'll do well.
That's the investor, right? That's the investor. That's
the investor, right?
Yeah.
And I would say more collector than flipper. I like dealer and flipper are different to me. They're different. You can go back in 2 weeks, the dealer will probably be there. The flippers, he's gone.
I would say it's more complicated than that, though. And this is not disagreeing with you. It's just more human psychology, I guess.
Yeah.
And that we as human beings, I'm not saying that your motives aren't exactly like you said it, Phil, but there is something to the fact that we as human beings tend to like and seek what the collective sees as valuable, versus, like, there's not a lot of people that collect 1990s base cards.
Correct.
Out there, right? And so it's like we all, no matter how much of like a collector purist you are, we always collect the most valuable stuff. There's a connection there that you can't deny.
Correct. And I like smiles. And when I show an exquisite card, people say, oh, like you saw it. Well, you'll see later on in the show what I picked up.
Yeah.
I've never had more DMs ever But well, other than the Healy thing. I've never had more DMs like, wow, how did you get that? And I'm like, I got that on eBay. They're like, no, you didn't. I checked the sales. I'm like, no, I messaged them. It was only on there for 2 hours. So like, I'll talk about it after, but maybe it's my subconscious. I mean, Freud would have a field day with this, but my subconscious knows there's value, numismatic value in the thing that I'm trying to be a purist in. Yeah, it is human psychology, eh, Josh? It gets kind of complicated.
Well, you like what's desired by, like, to have something that you know is desired by others is
absolutely
a good feeling, right?
Yeah, it's good. Funny, eh?
Everybody wants it. And the only other potential I would throw in there that I think we do still see that can move the market is timing, right? We know at the start of the playoffs and at the start of the regular season that there is a bump there. So that's about but I just think like maybe some of the sort of pandemic era things that when everything was going up so fast that it's like, and we were all looking for reasons, the market was looking for reasons for cards to go up, that you'd win a Stanley Cup or you'd win a Hart Trophy or something like that. And it just doesn't seem, ever since the last case I can really think of that was in Colorado, where McKinnon's cards went nuts. McCarr's cards, which makes a little bit more sense, went nuts. Last year, everybody assumed that there's going to be this big Jack Eichel bonanza. Didn't happen at all. Nobody cared, right? That Vegas had won the cup, and it's happening this year with Florida too. Like nothing is. It's total crickets.
So Eichel's cards, not much, eh? I don't know.
No,
really. What is it? Yeah, it's wow. What a interesting topic. Bizarre, man. Bizarre.
It's just kind of come to the point where if your goal is any sort of orientation around value, where it's goats and prospects, right? It's Lemieux on the Gretzky, Gordie Howe, Steve Yzerman, Pavel Bure. We're also seeing a lot of, I think, 90s nostalgia.
Resurgence.
Right. So here's the thought that I've had, and everyone's kind of going nuts over, me too. I've actually got a Kaprizov coming, the Hockey Heroes acetate cards from Extended Series.
Beautiful.
Well, that's just like a 1990 Upper Deck, basically tribute design. And so we're kind of getting to the point where junk wax era are becoming, oh, there you got it right there.
If someone didn't know what they were, that's what they look like. If you're
watching, is that a clear cut or an acetate? Acetate's different, eh? I think that's clear cut.
No, there's a different distinction in Young Guns. It's actually the technology is called PETG.
What? What is this?
Clear cuts it's a thinner version of the PETG, where the Young Guns acetates are thicker and then typically have foil.
And my acetates have they're embossed outward. They're not a flat card. So that looked like a flat card that Troy held up.
It is.
Oh, but it's an acetate.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm out of the hobby. I don't get it.
and so I just brought it up because it seems like nostalgia drives market value too. Like we're seeing like the Pavel Bure of the world are, and there's probably other examples too that are just escaping me right now. But
who's got the money, right? The 40 and 50 and 60-year-olds. Where did we grow up? The 80s and 90s, right? All the little turds running around flipping cards. They grew up 10, 15 years ago. They don't have big boy jobs yet. Not that we're all super successful over here. I'm very moderately successful. I'm a rich, poor person.
There you go.
So it just, to me, like the answer is double down on what you really, really like and really believe in. And it's not a good time to be chasing ideas or strategies that don't fall in line with what your own kind of collecting tastes are. Is that, trust yourself, trust your eye. And because there was a time in the pandemic, like when the whole like investee type approach was, it's like, well, what's this hot trend over here? Can I try to be one of the early adopters of this trend and flip stuff and make money? I would think that those opportunities are basically non-existent at this point.
My opinion is easy in one sentence. If you want to make money, why are you investing in hockey cards? I don't know. I buy hockey cards because I like collecting them and I like my friends and I like watching hockey. This is the first industry I would stay away from by far. It's a horrible asset class, man. What do you do? Like, I don't know. Why would you do it? It's insane. Find something else you're good at. Make money there. Spend the money in the hobby. That's how I do it.
Well, and I say this all the time, and I think it's very close to what you're saying, is that the only time I ever kind of build value or have cards go way up are when I buy cards that I'm not trying to make money on. I just think are awesome and I want to have them. And then every time I've tried to make money, I've lost my shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be the worst card dealer ever. But,
300 chain Pintos. Anyone needs one? Let me know.
And that was you. Now, what was your motive?
I was trying to make money. It was my first time trying to make money. I was like, here we go. But I should have picked someone I didn't like. I love Pinto. I mean, I'll be fine. I bought them all for under $10 each. That's still over $3,000, boys, though, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it'll be okay. I love the kid. He'll be a stud. He'll pop. All he has to do is score 2 hat tricks in a row. Oh, my God. Right? Hobby, hype, popularity.
Yes.
And
then are you offloading at that point?
Oh, yeah. All gone. See you later.
Yeah, stay off them betting apps. So, sure.
Yeah. So that was my first attempt. Failed miserably. I'm back to collecting normal. Yeah.
All right, Troy, you have any closing thoughts on this?
No, I love the discussion. Like I said, I'm probably with you. It's not like I'm out here to make a bunch of money. I do like to sell stuff I don't want anymore for money, but yeah, it seems like it is very hard to play the flipping game, and it's only getting harder. There's such a short, tiny window to actually in the beginning. I guess that's one thing too. It's right when sets release seems like a really good time to if you're gonna try to make money on stuff you've pulled from a box, because some of that
you
stuff
have to be so fast though.
You gotta be fast. You have to be super fast, and I guess it's not like stocks where there are all these bots running around doing all the trading, but you have to be fast. So,
all right.
My takeaway. I love that. I still like the age breakdown thing and the hype. I like that.
I still don't feel we have a good answer. Like, I'm still plagued by this question, right?
That's the reason it's for discussion. Like, this is where hopefully people chime in, and then we revisit it.
Comment.
Someone tell, because it's frustrating. Well, you know what? If we had a perfect answer, we'd all be rich.
Yeah, we'd all be rich, right? We wouldn't do the show anymore. We just sit on our
humble abodes.
Humble abodes.
Okay, I just want to make one other comment because this keeps sticking with me. Have you noticed too, and we all do this, I'm pointing at myself too, that, and this gets back to the hype thing. When there is hype, we explain things away. And when there isn't hype, then we disregard things, right? So the fact that Connor Bedard has the 117th most points of any rookie ever, we have all of our explanations for, right? And then when somebody doesn't have hype, well, that was baked in. Right? Or it's the market. Nobody cares. Right? And so it's just interesting how powerful that hype or popularity, how popular of a driver that is.
Yeah. Human nature.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's total human nature. We're idiots.
Trend is your friend.
Humans are idiots.
Okay, Phil. We're going to move on. Now it's time for what Creases Phil's Corners. We're very, very excited.
I feel like I'm going to start, you know what? I'm going to start rewriting these so I can read it like a dialogue. Yeah, that'll be better. It's actually what creases my cardboard, but I've been letting you say corners.
Oh, you want cardboard? Okay,
I like what creases my cardboard. Yeah, but it's kind of like when I worked at a grocery store, a guy for 2 years called me Paul. I couldn't correct him. I felt terrible. So
you want us to change it to what creases Paul's corners? Is that
what creases Phil's corners? Cardboard.
All right, Phil. Well, to let us know what creases your corners or cardboard. What creases anything? Let's go.
Yeah. So I'm originally when you asked me for something that's been bothering me, nothing's really been bothering me this week, but something that generally bothers me is people that grade patch cards. It drives me bonkers.
Here's an example: graded patch card.
Yes. So I gave 3 examples, and they're all of the same card. What we have here is we have a Mason McTavish Mason McTavish Future Watch patch auto. Beautiful card. Beautiful card. Troy's favorite horizontal cards. He probably likes the back better. So we're not focusing on the patches. We're not focusing on the player. What if you are a diehard Mason McTavish fan and you're not a hardcore hobby collector like the 3 of us and everybody listening? It depends who your first entrance, right? What's your first experience into the hobby? You're asking questions like, what is this PSA 10 compared? Can you pull up the 9, Troy, next?
Yes.
So what's the difference between the PSA 9 and the PSA 10 card? And then I found a third card that's not in any holder.
Yeah.
And so you would say, well, we call those raw cards, and those other two cards have been great. If you look at all these cards, and this one was scanned in,
yes,
they're almost virtually identical, right? The PSA 10 and the PSA 9 are virtually identical. Do you guys know the price difference between the 9 and the 10 is at least, I think, $2,200, $2,300? I wrote it down. I cleaned my office. I apologize. It's a considerable amount of difference. We all know it is, as opposed to the raw card as well. I think the raw card's like $500-$600. Pretty sure the 10's going for like $1,500-$1,600. That's not what we're talking about pricing. What a beautiful, beautiful card. The Future Watches, they're shiny, they're glossed up. The patch it has a deep set into the card. Engineering went into these cards. They're very difficult to make. Well, let's assume they're difficult to make. Why would you put it in prison? And not only does PSA put it in their plastic, they put plastic in the plastic. So you can't even, every time I try to take a picture or when I try to scan the card, it's got such a dull finish on it. It's disgusting. Actually, you want to know what started this whole thing? I had a 2009-10 Erik Karlsson rookie patch auto card. I had it in the plastic forever. I had it in for about a year and a half. Something happened. I had to sell the card. I cried in the parking lot selling the card. I didn't cry like boo-hoo. I teared up. I took the card out of the plastic while I was waiting for the guy to come out of the high-tech building to buy the card. He bought it for like $300. Here's what's horrible. I've never held that card right before I'm about to sell it. I've never held it raw in my hands. I felt sick to my stomach that I'm selling such a beautiful, beautiful card that for 2 years I had that card almost, and I never took it out of the plastic top loader and the penny sleeve. I'm telling anyone who's listening right now, and I guarantee at least 20 to 30% people listening, you have never held your patch cards naked in your hands. Give it a shot. Give it a shot, because then you'll turn into Troy, you'll turn into me, you'll turn into Josh, you'll turn into Grotman. We don't grade. I don't care if I have a bent corner on a Wayne Gretzky 03 exquisite design. I really don't care. I'd actually like to buy that card raw, because how bent, I don't know.
Wait, who's naked, the card or you?
No, naked, the birthday suit. Yeah, no, the card. Well, I'll do it for the right amount of money, but I don't think you'd invite me on the podcast again. I'd be invited on different podcasts. Okay, yeah. So here, bringing it back. Yeah, that's what Creases.
The OnlyFans version of the Gong Show?
I'm already on OnlyFans, but I'm on VPN in Europe. You can't find me in North America. Listen, I'm telling. Okay, what do you guys think? Troy, I know what your opinion, but don't you like patch cards?
I actually have a counter opinion to this. Not really.
Good, fight me. Let's do it.
I don't want to fight you because you.
No, with words. With words.
The purpose of grading, in my opinion, is to more easily facilitate transactions.
Okay.
So it makes sense in my mind to grade a card where you that you intend to sell, right? That has a patch in it. Now, to enjoy and own it, everything you're saying is 100% true. They suck in these slabs. It's horrible.
Right.
But I remember being at the card shop as a kid where I'm like a 14-year-old, 12-year-old kid, and there's like the old kind of somewhat scary shop owner, and there's a Sergei Fedorov Young Guns or something like that is like horribly off-centered, and one of the corners is janky, and he has in a top loader or whatever, card saver, and the little like circle sticker on it says Gem Mint. And he's trying to charge you like at the high end of the Beckett book value back in 1990, right? And you end up arguing with this guy. You're saying, he's like, this is a Gem Mint, and you're like, nah, the corner's screwed up. And he's like, no. I look at cards all day long, and this is a mint card. And then because I was 12, and this is some 40-year-old, I would pay the $10 more than it was worth, and then I'd get home and the card would have a bent corner, and you're like, this is not a Gem Mint card or a mint card, whatever the terminology was back then. And so it's a long-winded way of saying that where grading is beneficial in transacting cards is it provides a third-party opinion on the condition, so you, between the buyer and seller, don't have to argue about condition.
Yes, but your premise is counting on the fact that the grading is consistent. That corner could get a 10, and you'd be like, here's a 10. Like, I'm so it. Yeah, I guess it's a bit of a paradox. I don't agree with their
But
opinion.
then by the time you own it, it's hard to enjoy a card like this and you're right too. Well, it gets this picture that we're showing on YouTube is even a better example where you have the card in a PSA slab and it's in an internal sleeve in the slab. And then people want to put it in a team bag after that because they don't want the slab to get all scratched up.
It's ridiculous.
Right. When you're selling it. And then you've got this card behind like 4 layers of plastic that you can't really, and it's to your point, it's dull. You can't see it with clarity. You don't get if there's like a rainbow foil element, you don't get that beautiful shine to it. And so, yeah, I totally get that side of it. I don't know. Where do you fall in all this, Troy? You're mute.
Troy's on mute.
Dang it. I was like, I'm gonna make it through the show without being on mute, but no, I didn't. I absolutely hate graded cards like this. I just want them out. If it's a patch, auto, anything, I don't care about the grade. I don't care about slabs. Sometimes it's necessary evil. Where I get frustrated maybe with a little bit about this is that, like, go to Phil's example where he's saying people new to the hobby and they're looking at these cards. You can't tell, but maybe this being in a PSA slabs gives them the little bit of confidence that this card's authentic and all that stuff, right? And then what we know is that you go to PSA's site and you start reading their guarantee. Oh, guess what it doesn't cover? Autographs and patches. So it's like we've seen enough of those fake things come out that it's like I hate that too. And I think grading kind of gives it's better than nothing, but it can kind of give a false sense of security too. But going back to the original topic of grading patch cards, I don't want them in grade or slabs. I want to cut them out or get them out of there, crack them immediately. I think it's ridiculous. I think Josh has a point. And I know some people do these just to protect the card. So they'll go with what they think is the best looking. They don't care about the grade. I'm fine if that's what you want to do. If you think like a tag slab looks fantastic and you want to put it in. Now, horizontal cards, we all know, look dumb in any slab almost because these slabs aren't made for it. I think HGA was the only one, right? Didn't they try to do something with horizontal slabs and might have got it?
Yeah, it never works out.
Yeah, like, or Beckett. But I just don't care. That's the thing. I don't care about graded patch cards.
No, me neither, man. Put them in a one-touch. You want to protect your cards? Put them in a one-touch. These cards, why do we collect cards? Because we like looking at them. We like the designs. Everyone who collects cards has a bit of a creative bug in them, clearly, or else, it just blows my mind. Steve Angel from Saskatchewan, one of the best sellers in Canada, phenomenal guys. He's Quincy Cards. He at one expo had a Brady Tkachuk. He said he forgot it. A Brady Tkachuk jumbo patch at one expo a couple years ago. He's like, "Oh my God, Phil, I totally forgot I have it. It's back in Saskatchewan. I'll bring it next expo. No problem." I think he said around 800-900. I was like, "Sure, you got it. No low ball." He graded it. It got a 9.5. What do you think happened to that card's price? It doubled because it got a great grade, 9.5. Do you know who lost the sale? Steve. I'm not buying that card. Not a chance. And Steve's awesome. He's like, "No, Phil, I totally understand. No problem. Very professional. No issue there whatsoever." But there's a perfect example of I am not interested, man. Not even close.
But it's a perfect example of why someone would grade a card because but
who's buying? Yeah, you know who's buying that card, Troy? Someone who wants to sell it to me.
There you go.
Someone's buying. No Brady. Yeah. Listen to me. There is not one Brady Tkachuk collector on the planet that is buying that card for $1,500, $1,600. Not a chance, man. Nobody.
Do you think though too that grading helps new people in the hobby by eliminating
danger?
Because you're allowed to operate the way you do because you've done this so long and you have the depth and breadth of knowledge that where you kind of get the follies behind grading. But if you're brand new to the hobby and there's a million things to learn, does it kind of give you a security blanket?
Yeah, it's your little water bobby, little milk before bed. It makes you feel safe of your purchase. And why do you think eBay is trying to capitalize on this authentication
guarantee.
program. It's such a joke, man. It's preying on people. We live in a time where Googling something for 2 minutes means doing research. That's not doing research. You're not doing your due diligence. And that is preying on those people. I do not want my card to be anywhere near an authenticator that eBay has provided whatsoever. They've bent 2 of my cards. First of all, I don't even that'll bend my cardboard next week. But it's
how many times are we changing
silly.
the name of this segment?
I know, I'm sorry. My brain thoughts go a little quicker than my words out of my mouth. That's what happens sometimes. Yeah.
So let's say you're opening up a box, like a big time box, and you pull a out of 10 Austin Matthews patch auto that you obviously aren't going to keep because he's not your favorite player. But let's say the condition's perfect.
Okay.
There's not a part of you that's knowing that if you shipped it to PSA that you would be able, if you're going to sell it anyways, that the market would dictate you getting double 2.5 times what it's worth. Are you so much of a purist that you're just going to sell it raw and let somebody enjoy it like you would want to?
In this scenario, I know the grade of 10 is coming. Yeah, no, I'm grading that all day long and selling it to a Maple Leaf fan. 100%. Yeah, I'm a capitalist at heart. Is that contradictory to everything I've been saying?
Kind of, but
yeah, but
I mean, we're allowed to be contradictory at some point.
Yeah, well, I'm a single dad. I want the money. Yeah, I want the money, and if I can make money off AM34, go nuts.
But then it is a little contradictory, or a little bit speaking on both sides of your mouth, then to say that, well, when I buy cards, I don't want them to be graded.
Yeah, but I'm not buying Austin Matthews. I'm buying hockey players. I'm not trying to be the best at exercise. So, okay, here, let me clarify. If I want the card, stop grading the patch cards. If you're a Maple Leafs fan, do what you want. You're confused and lost anyways.
So you're saying that PSA needs to adjust our processes to include you in every card submission. Say, Bill, are you interested in this card?
No. Listen, it all comes down to consistent grading. And that's, if we had that, I'd be I still wouldn't grade my patch cards. If I could guarantee my patch cards were 10s, they were not getting graded. They're just not mine.
I don't know if PSA is done. No, not PSA. If TAG is done as good as maybe that they had prescribed or had aspired to in this regard. But I can also start to buy the concept when you say that, okay, we're going to develop a slab that's like 100% UV protectant, meaning your auto will never fade. We're going to use like the most clearest, like, I don't like, you hear like medical grade or like plastic forged in the, in the belly of an iceberg.
In Mordor or what?
Or something like that. That's like the most clear, like you can't even tell it's there. It's so clear. Like I could buy, if there's like benefits of protection that don't take away from the eye appeal of the card.
Yeah, I think tag are the best slabs ever. It could absolutely be a mirrored piece of glass where you're like, oh, I can't even see it. You can't touch it. You can't look at some patch cards have such chunky depths to them in that window. You got to almost tilt it. And I don't know, man, it feels great holding a big chunky patch card.
I like my top loader binder for this exact reason. I can put them in there,
you go.
Open them up, and I can pull the card out right away and look at it and look at the chunkiness. And
I
agree.
When I do, I mean, I haven't done one in a while. When I do a loud collector video, I always take it out of the one touch and hold it to the camera. And I get DMs saying, thank you for doing that. Okay. Probably like 2 or 3, but we'll exaggerate it for this point, like everyone else.
Well, that's what Creases fills corners or makes your cardboard sad or whatever.
Mushes my cardboard sad.
Okay. Yeah. All right, a couple more things to get to before we get out of here. I wanted to roll through quickly some Young Guns sales from extended series. It's always interesting to check in and see where the values lie there. Super early, of course. It was just the product came out last Wednesday. What I did is I looked up most of the Young Guns. I averaged the last 5 sales and came up with the list of very early top selling Young Guns from this year's extended series. Of course, these are all raw sales. I don't think any have been graded. to this point. You guys ready to see the list?
I'm ready.
Let's
Scare
do it.
Troy. Okay. All right, so coming in at number 5 in the start top 5 is the Field.
Oops.
You're ahead of the game, Troy.
Hell yeah. Sorry.
Now, what I mean by the Field is basically everyone else not in the top 4, because beyond the top 4 guys, which we'll get to in a minute, basically all the other young guns are selling in the $3 to $5 range raw. So could not find anyone that really separated themselves. So that means it's basically a 4 young guns chase so far in extended series. What's that?
The Field.
Oh, there you go. Okay, now we'll move on to number 4. The 4th highest selling young guns on average is either Matthew or Matt Savoy. He started as Matthew and somewhere along the lines became Matt.
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to go with Matt.
No Matty, though. Beniers is the only Matty Beniers.
Yeah. So his base young guns is selling on average for about just over $14 US raw. Now, you as a draft guy, are you a Matt Savoy guy, Phil? He kind of like was like a big name 2 years ago, then completely disappeared, and now
I gotta be honest, I just remember him from the draft and I have not thought about him once.
He's an upper deck guy, right? They went kind of big on him.
Yeah, he was a spokesperson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know much about I remember him clearly, he's big hype, but I don't know much since then. Apologies.
Okay, number 3 is Simon Nemec, whose last 5 average sales are $16. Could have a young, nice pairing there with brother Luke and Nemec for the Devils. But I think he was the number 2 pick in the draft 2 years ago.
Ooh, I thought they had 3rd. Doesn't matter. I'm probably wrong.
Like that. Number 2 is Golden Gopher, and now Utah Hockey Club youngster Logan Cooley, whose last 5 average sales are just about $38 US. Number 1, Hills guy Adam Fantilli coming in at an average of about 45 US. So it seems pretty tame to me. Like I'm kind of again used to flagship where it's like Mo Sider at $100 and Lucas Raymond at $100. It's like they're topping out about in the 40s, high 30s, low 40s.
Bedard
now
that for all of us.
Still, going back to Fantilli, he had 12 goals, 27 points, 49 games played last year. Definitely not a disaster. Showed some potential, but far from a super exciting rookie campaign. Also plays on the Blue Jackets, so there's that factor.
That's a big one.
And then Cooley was a little bit better, maybe with 20 goals, 44 points, 82 games played. He was in Arizona. We don't know what it's going to be like in Utah, but are you overwhelmed, underwhelmed, or just whelmed when it comes to young guns chases so far from extended guys?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that Korshinsky guy in Chicago guy? Korshinsky?
He was series 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, shows you how much I'm paying attention. Is a lot of people going after him?
No. He's impressive though. Like
he's good. Yeah, that's he was. Yeah. Anyway, from what you showed though, no, I don't really pay much attention to the actual hobby part of the new people. Yeah, that's prospecting, right? That's what you'd call prospecting. Yep.
I'll be interested to see if Cooley gets off to a hot start, if the new NHL fans in that area sort of latch onto him. And because I know Utah has like a really strong basketball collecting base and they're very big sports fans. So that could drive some hobby momentum there.
Hasselhoff thinks Cooley is he's going to be a big time player. He likes him better than Fantilli, so we're always kind of arguing about that.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Quick mention for Gongshow partner and sponsor PWCC. We're grateful for them for their supporting our show. Mark your calendars, guys. The July premiere auction begins July 4th, Thursday, July 4th. I always can't wait to see what cards are in store for this month's premiere. Also, don't forget about the 4,000 or so hockey cards in the fixed price marketplace. Tons of great cards to choose from, going back from pre-war to Connor Bedard rookies. The whole gamut there. And then finally, there's always a weekly auction too to bid on. The current PWCC weekly auction is live on Thursday's show. Troy and I will highlight our favorites as we always do. But in the meantime, head to pwccmarketplace.com and check them out for yourself. Okay, mailbag time, boys. Got a lot of really good questions again too. And the first one I love questions from new collectors. It's Instagram Car Guy RYZ. He says, I'm a new collector and I don't understand what the ratio is when you guys say gem rate. What does that mean? So again, great question. Gem rate is the percentage of cards that are submitted to a grader that receive the gem mint grade. So in the case of PSA, like a PSA 10. So Troy, like you gave an example, right?
I just did math because it helps me walk through it, right? So
Right,
if it, yeah, so say a player has 100 cards graded by PSA. Of those 100 graded cards, 55 are PSA 10s, which is the gem mint grade for PSA. Therefore, the gem rate would be 55 divided by 100 or 55%. And remember, gem rates, I think, are at Beckett would be what, 9.5 or 10? Is that, do they include both those in their gem rate?
Nope, just 9.5.
Just 9.5. So just make sure you look at the companies. If you want to remember what grade it is, it's usually a 9.5 or a 10 is gem mint. Yep. SGC might be 9.5. Are they 10s for gem mint? I can't remember.
10.
But yeah.
Yeah, SGC, CGC, and PSA use a 10, and TAG use a 10. Scale, Beckett is the only one that uses 9.5. Yep. All right, Instagram, Rico B78, new to the collecting hobby. He said collected in my teens, or should I say making a comeback. With all the different sets that exist, it really gets overwhelming choosing sets or players to chase for the PC. Mm-hmm. Any recommendations on how to approach collecting in the era full of different products? What do you think, Troy?
Well, I'd say we did a Hockey Cards 101 episode on December 26, 2022 that kind of focused, or it focused around brands and sets, and we actually go into this kind of discussion in that episode. I think it was our third Hockey Cards 101. I hope we don't sound like a bunch of bumbling idiots like our first shows, but it does have some good information. And it kind of answers this question. We also kind of break them down into entry level sets, flagship, mid tiers, top tiers, and then Apex, which is the cup, and kind of talk about price points and getting into the hobby, where to start, or what are the main sets, or again, that's where I would start for this question. And then, because we could do a whole episode on this completely, we could do an hour-long show, which is why we did a 101.
Now, it's Phil. So if somebody comes up to you and it's a new collector and says, what product should I buy to start my collecting journey? What would your recommendation be?
I'd have to clarify what their definition of a collecting journey is. I set up at the Ottawa show once a month, and I leave pretty sad sometimes because there's always a 12-year-old like, do you know how much this is worth? I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? You're 12. So, your collecting journey, are you trying to make money? I'd say don't buy boxes, buy singles, check eBay comps and whatnot. But if you're just purely a collector, buy OPC and see if you like that. And if you don't, step up from there. I would say start small.
Yeah. My recommendation, I think, would be flagship.
Yeah,
with the exception of Series 2 of this year.
Yeah, don't do Series 2 this year.
Yeah. I think Young Guns is a lot of people maybe move on from it more and more as they get more years under their belt in the hobby, but it's a great card to understand what the hockey hobby is all about and kind of what moves the needle versus what doesn't, I guess. And I think Upper Deck has done a good job of putting more interesting cards into flagship beyond Young Guns too. So that's one that I would recommend. Okay, next one from Facebook, Ryan Hines. How do you sort and store your cards? Phil, you want to start with this one?
Oh, maybe if you could see behind me, you wouldn't ask me to lead this question. I'm 43 and I struggle constantly. I organize all my cards, all my office. Everything is perfect. Look back a week later, it's a poop show again. I'm not the best. The top loader binders have really, really helped me out. I can answer the second part better. I store my expensive cards in 3 different locations. At a certain point, they're assets. So I have a lot of my prized cards at my baby mama's house because I know no one's going there. And then I have my other 2, my section 2 of cards is at my workshop, and I have a safe there. And I have a safe at my house. So at some point, if you're exceeding 10K in cards, 10, 15,000, I would invest in a safe. And that's how I would store my cards.
What do you think, Troy?
So it's a good thing I don't have any expensive cards. So I don't have to worry about that. No, I do it. So like Phil said, if I could turn my camera, you'd see I actually have a system. I basically sort them into the boxes. I have a base box, and they're all by player name. And then I have another box or boxes that are broken out by inserts and parallels by player name. And then I have final boxes that are rookie cards by player name. I do everything by player name. It's just what worked for me. And it's always one of those things where I can say, oh, this guy's doing good. Maybe I'll go look and see what cards I have if I ever wanted to move them. I usually don't. But that's how I do them. And then I have top loader binders for PC guys like Pecorine, and then also for Minnesota Wild players and Minnesota North Star players.
Can I ask you a question, Troy?
Yeah.
So I never knew that about you. That's crazy. No. So what do you do when you buy like a case of Flagship? What do you do with all the base and stuff?
If you're just I don't buy a case, so I buy a box.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, so a box.
They're all in. I have like right now, I got 3 5,000 count hockey base boxes.
And
what player name?
Even if it's a mediocre player?
Yep, I keep it.
He puts every card into a spreadsheet,
and it's all in a spreadsheet.
You're a crazy person.
So that's the first step. It actually goes into the spreadsheet, and then I put it in the boxes.
So like Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, you have a spot for that.
Yep.
What? That's so great. I don't.
And I handwrite out each little. Basically, I use cardboard stock paper.
Yeah.
And I cut it. 4 by 3 inches, I think is what I do, and then I handwrite the name, and then pop it in, and.
So you must have a lot of players right up against each other because you only have like 2 or 3 cards of them. Right?
No, there's I have a lot of cards of most players.
Okay.
But yeah, there are some that are right up against each other, so you have to.
Okay, interesting.
He's got a pretty big heater pile he's working on for you, Phil.
Yeah. You watch your mouth there, boys.
All right. I'm an organizational disaster. I have plans to organize. I've had plans to organize for like 5 years, and I never get around to it. So
I saw you open a box, Josh. You're a disaster.
I'm gonna refrain from answering this question. YouTube Sports Card Professor: what are the different ways Upper Deck uses the term canvas? Canvas in extended series or clear cut canvas, etc. Which UD canvas is the most collectible and or numbered? Ooh. I think canvas is mainly a flagship brand, and they're not numbered, but they do have parallels. So the last few years, it's been the black parallel or black and white that we'll see with canvas. Now, you're right, Professor. Upper Deck has used the canvas design or brand, if you want to call it that, almost like a tribute in other sets. So like Clear Cut will have the canvas autos. They'll do a canvas rookie card in those sets as well, but they don't. It's not a Young Guns. It's like rookie debut, I think, or something like that. Those can be autographed and numbered. Typically when they're hand numbered. And then you'll see canvas cards occasionally used in other sets like SP Signature Edition Legends. There's a canvas in there for Legends. We've seen canvas cards like in Tim Hortons sets before too, that kind of follow the theme of whatever Tim Hortons release there is. But in general, it's mainly a flagship product. Is anyone? That's, I guess, me answering that to the best of my ability.
Yeah, that's
and anyone
way better than my ability. So
yeah, I'm good.
YouTube Salvatore Debrida. Hopefully I said that right. What are your thoughts on low numbered cards getting fight strap buttons, and laundry tags as patches? I hate seeing the player's chase card read tumble dry on low heat instead of a cool 3+ color logo patch. Hockey has some of the coolest logos in sports, but they aren't being maximized by Upper Deck. Troy, you have an opinion on this, I saw.
I agree 100% on his take on tumble dry. No, I do not want to see that. I have no interest, absolutely zero interest in laundry tags at all. They do nothing for me. Other items like sticks, glove pieces, goalie pieces, I think those are cool. I don't like buttons or fight straps. Those don't interest me one bit at all. Obviously, like you said, patches are the best. And I think Upper Deck actually probably does do a good job maximizing what they have. It just depends on how much they have of a product, or if we require more stuff, they need to step out of just cutting up the patch or the jersey swatch or the napkins or whatever.
To his point, though, Troy, we have seen some examples of, and this is not agreeing with you, it's more building upon it, where Upper Deck will have a patch card that'll have parallels, right? It'll start at like $2.99 with jersey, and then it'll get down to like beautiful 3-color amazing patch is out of 20 or out of 15, and then out of 3 is the
It's
laundry
garbage.
tag.
Yeah, it's the laundry
In
tag.
my mind, and they probably do it because there's one laundry tag on the. But in my mind, I would 100 times out of 100 have the rather have the out of
Yes.
15 amazing patch than the out of 3 laundry tag. I don't know. What do you think, Phil? Are you a big fan of?
I'm all with you on that. Yeah. There's no uglier hockey card than a fight strap button. It's hideous. If you say you like it, you're lying to yourself and you're trying to sell the card.
All right, in Discord, JT Hockey. Are there any hockey books you would recommend? Stuff about general history of the league or sport? Well, I don't read, so I'm going to turn this one over to Troy and Phil.
Well, yeah, this is a great question. It's an area I want to get better at. I want to read more hockey books. It's on my list of things to do. I got my e-reader. I can check out some books from the library. One book I know a lot of people have recommended. It's actually, I'm waiting. I'm on the wait list for it at the library. It's The Game by Ken Dryden. It's always listed in one of the top 10 hockey books of all time. So I would start with that or look at that book. But if you want a good starting list, there's a organization called the Society for International Hockey Research. And on their website, they have the 30 hockey books that they would recommend. And just going through them, they look fantastic. Whole different areas of subject areas. And all the books I have read around hockey, now I have read books on hockey, they're all around hockey strategy and data analytics. I got like probably behind me, I probably got 15 books on analytics and strategy.
Nerd.
Big nerd, Troy.
Do you read hockey books, Phil?
I do. I'm a reader. I'm a big dork.
Wow.
Give some suggestions.
What's your favorites?
Well, for hockey right now, I'm reading self-help books. I have a book called Surrounded by Idiots, but that's nothing against you two. I'm just
is that about the show?
No, I don't know. I'm reading it. It's good. Okay, listen, I don't want to do that one. I want to. So, Lord, I had to Google it because it's in the garage. I didn't want to leave, and I have it. Lord Stanley's Cup by Andrew Podniks. It's an A to Z book about Stanley Cup, right from its origins, right till present day. Actually, I don't know about present day. I believe it was written like 10 years ago or whatnot.
Okay.
It's phenomenal. Excellent book. There's some crazy stories. I live in Ottawa. We have the canal. A couple of guys got drunk that won from the Ottawa Maroons and they passed out and the cup rolled in the canal. They found it like a week later. Like it was downstream. That's what the dents are from. There's so many stories like that. And then my second would be, it's called the OPG hockey card story. Jeremy had him on. Richard Scott. I'm holding it up if you're watching on YouTube.
Do you have another one of those?
I have one, but you can borrow it, Troy.
I've tried to find that book and I can't have it.
They're on Amazon. In Canada. Are they on there? I can pay. The guy lives. He comes to Ottawa. He lives in Quebec, but he comes to Ottawa. I can buy like 10 books from him and sell them to all of us. But yeah, so those are my two books. I'm a big hockey sports guy. So the Lord Stanley Cup by Andrew Podniks and the OPG hockey card story. Very nostalgic and full of lots of history by Richard Scott.
So that one book you mentioned, I found a book called Lords of the Rinks, and it's about the emergence of the National Hockey League from 1875 to 1936. I bet that would be fascinating.
Ooh, that would be cool. Man,
that's on that society site. They have, I mean, these books look fantastic. I would start with that. Maybe I'll
they have audiobooks so I can.
I don't think so.
It's not the same.
I don't know how to read. All right. YouTube, Ojibwe86. Is Bedard's UD Canvas truly the first meme card of the hockey hobby? I gotta admit, guys, this question makes me feel like such a boomer. And I know I'm Gen X, but I don't know what meme card really means. Do either of you? Troy, you're more...
Well, I just think it's like one that people make fun of. Like they'll use the image in a meme. That's
maybe
simple.
Then. I don't know if you think of another card that would...
Well, I mean, I've always liked Ron Duguay's card with the huge hair. But I don't know if it's a meme.
Isn't a meme like, weren't there memes 1,000 years ago in the town square? Like, it doesn't have to be a digital thing. A meme is just like a tear sheet of a thought, isn't it? Like I don't know. Probably shouldn't open my mouth there.
This is my meme card right here.
That card's awesome, man.
That's a great card.
But I think he's onto something. Let's talk about this generation, like the young kids, like the last 5 years. Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah, like the traditional in the traditional sense of a meme in the question, I think of like digital words on top, a silly thing, but I think that word a meme symbolizes like a flyer, like a not an information flyer, but a portraying an idea or thought of humor with humor attached to it. I believe they were still posted up with hammer and nails back in the day.
Okay.
I don't know. Someone Google it, please. I hope I'm right.
So we're gonna say yes.
Yes.
Just to make it easy.
Yes.
Let's move on.
I want examples if someone thinks it's something else, because we've had funny cards we've looked at before. Like my Kyle Palmieri one, where it's the Outburst Silvers, where he's falling. It looks like the protrusion of the, I don't know what you want to call it, the firework out of there. It looks like it's coming from a certain spot on his body. So I think that's funny.
Okay, Instagram Tapper30. How big is Celebrini's hobby market going to be compared to Bedard's? I would say going back to hype. Yeah, it's not even in the same stratosphere. No, Celebrini, who knows, could be a better player. We're just talking about hobby market at prospects is driven by hype. And by this point, many Connor Bedard cards had sold for thousands of dollars. And there's just not at all as good as he is, the momentum around Celebrini. You guys agree with that or disagree?
Agreed.
100%. It's an absolute fraction, a single percentage probably of Bedard's market.
You're going to hear a lot of this. Oh yeah, Celebrini. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not a fair comparison because Connor Bedard had so much more hype.
Instagram.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was saying a season under his belt where he just won the Calder.
Yeah. Instagram Top Shelf Cookie Sniper Podcast. They'll listen to you today. Everybody should do. He said, congrats on 200 episodes. Content just keeps getting better. Question is, what is the biggest lesson or mistake either of you have learned from the hockey card market that you will never repeat? Other than Croy's Krill PSA 10. He said for 1,000, but it wasn't quite that much. Right?
750-ish somewhere.
You put $1 million. That's $1 million there, dude.
You want to go first, Troy?
I'll just say, well, it's fun. It's funny he asked this question because Phil gave his with Pinto. I'm assuming that was one of them. Yeah. Mine is definitely the Krill. But I'm glad it happened because it got me to learn about population counts, gem rates, all that stuff about young guns that we've talked about. I've learned, obviously, that ripping boxes is just for enjoyment. And the box cost is basically my price of entertainment because making money on those is not a thing for me or a lot of people. And I guess this is kind of off the question, but it just goes into the fact I've learned how much I love collecting and finding awesome single cards of players. I like your PC.
What I would say is, well, first, thank you, Jay. Very nice to hear the kind words. I think the biggest thing I've learned, and probably already alluded to this episode already, is anytime I go out of my lane and I try to do something that isn't like true to myself or kind of, I get swayed by stuff I think other people are doing or ways to kind of profiteer quickly, I get creamed doing it. And so, like chasing prospects. I'm terrible at prospecting. I should never, ever, ever do it. It never works out. It was funny, Phil, you used the Mason McTavish. He was like the one guy I went all in on.
Oh, I like Mason.
I do too, right? And I think he still could be a great player, but last year was not good.
No,
I don't think NHL for him. And his market was not good. And so I learned that lesson too. But I don't know. Would you say Pinto's your biggest lesson learned, Phil, or is there something else?
No. I enjoyed. Troy made a good point. It's the price of entertainment. So I was kind of entertaining myself. I was having fun doing it, not to a guy. I'd say the biggest lesson I learned was I lost my blind faith with PSA and grading in general. I lost that safety blanket. It's a PSA 10. It's the top dog. It can't. No, that's over for me. I learned my lesson. I'm a better grader than people at PSA. Troy's a better. No. I'm not even joking. I trust someone who is committed to our hobby to look at my cards and tell me it's a better grade than some random $2 over minimum wage guy at PSA.
All right, I'm copywriting this Hockey Cards Gongshow grading service. We are going to have the best grading notes ever because it's just
everybody gets a 10. Everybody
it's going to be random thoughts that I'm thinking as I'm grading the card.
Yeah, for the guy that hates grading, I hate this. I hate doing this.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Discord KMM. What are your top 3 to 5 pre-McDavid era hobby boxes
Josh.
in terms of value / underratedness.
Josh.
So, I think Phil will have an answer too.
Phil, you're on here.
I put
go first.
1998 OPG Chrome. So I'm sure Phil agrees with that one too.
Yes.
And then
no.
these
Hold on. 98. Yeah. Oh, pre McDavid. Okay, sorry. I thought it said McDavid. McDavid boxes, like undervalued McDavid boxes. Sorry about that.
And there's a lot of like slashes going on in this question,
Yeah.
so you gotta pay attention really closely. Yeah, 1998 OPG Chrome. Then, because I'm such like a Fleer rube, I put 2008-09 Fleer EX, and then 2012 Fleer Retro. Did I hit the nail on the head there, Phil?
Yeah, those are my cards or my box picks. Yeah, they're awesome.
I think 2012 Fleer Retro is the greatest hockey set ever made.
No, I would disagree.
Okay.
I would go. Well, it's not a very good disagreement because I don't know what I would go with. My 98-99 OPG Chrome is just the cat's butt. So,
could you throw any? Oh no, never mind. Pre McDavid, sorry.
Yeah, is there anything that comes to your mind, Troy?
I've been really gravitating towards Panini cards, Panini hockey cards, because they only had that 2-year run, or was it 2?
The Contenders was my favorite set in the 2010s.
2012 and then 2013. Like Prism, though, I think it was just 2013. I think 2012 Prism cards were in Panini Rookie Anthology, whatever that was.
And then they have National Treasures cards, which they're just cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's friends of the show, Seth Allison's favorite set.
Oh,
Prism. Yeah, good Seth. We love Seth.
Nice. Okay, Instagram, JWonger17. He said, which player's hobby value increased the most from being traded or took the biggest hit? So I actually thought a lot about this one, and I don't know if there's been like a big superstar trade in the last 10 years that's really kind of shook the hobby. Am I completely forgetting something, or is there just, it's mainly like free agents, but there hasn't been like a Gretzky in his prime type trade. Well, there probably never will be, but anything that's on that plane, even, I don't think.
Hasek got thrown around a lot there for a few years, but I don't think that did anything for his hobby. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I was trying to look. I'm flipping through the hockey news. They have like the best or biggest trades of the decade, but it's like none of these guys are hobby like Philippe Forsberg, Seth Jones, Ryan Johansson, Sergei Bobrovsky when he got traded or when he got the Blue Jackets. Yeah, there's just no names of Kessel.
And I think something that might have to do with it is now professional sports have become so valuable that really like the richest of rich people own them. And you kind of see this like with like even in the NFL, these legacy teams where families bought the team or started the team in the 50s that were not all that wealthy. I mean, they weren't poor, but they weren't billionaires to start. And it seems like anyone that owns a team now is a billionaire. And like when you have Gretzky would have never been traded if Steve Ballmer owned the Oilers and could lose $300 million a year and not care. Right. And so I think like it seems like those huge trades were not so much player driven, but finance driven. Like the player got so good that the team could no longer afford him. And
what happened with Gretzky?
Yeah, that's what happened with Gretzky, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Well, part of it. No, Gretzky, his wife wanted LA because she wanted to act. Acting career.
Yeah, that worked out real well for her. Good job, Janet. Good job, Janet.
So this article I was looking at from the Hockey News, it's from 2019. So decade goes to 2009. With the number one trade, they had Brett Burns becoming a Shark, our Minnesota Wild. Great. Got Coyle and Devin Setaguchi.
But these are not like
no, none of these guys on this list. I'm just reading through them. So unless we totally missed something in the last 5 years, I mean, PK Subban and Shea Weber. It's just
PK who?
Subban. Sorry, I said Subban again. Subban.
That's not a French name.
Okay. Are we ready to move on?
Yeah,
we're
ready.
Let's go. Yeah.
Okay. Facebook, Andrew Shee. It's been said, insert data here, that cards rise in price during the season and fall in the off season. Have you been able to confirm this with data? I know there are the exceptions, hot prospects, but does this rule reign true for other players? I actually believe the general rule is true. Like a good example is Austin Matthews. He had a fantastic season, 69 goals, and his young guns from like PSA 10 is down about 30% from when they were eliminated in the playoffs, right? That you get this off-season dip, right? That it now where the exception to the rule becomes is more in prospecting, especially where sets are yet to come out. Like we saw last summer, Cole Caulfield kept going up, up, and up because a lot of 2021, 22
Yep.
sets were still coming out, like the big ones, the premieres and that stuff over the summer. But in general, I still believe that there is an off-season dip. And you guys agree or disagree with that?
I agree. I don't really go with data. I go with my gut, and I buy most of my cards when hockey is not being played.
Yep, I agree. And we could probably, this is like a whole other show of analysis if you want to go down a rabbit hole.
Okay. Instagram TNC Breakers. He asked the most overrated Connor Bedard card buy and why.
All
the
of
more
them
that goes
except,
on,
sorry,
Yeah,
all
okay,
of them
you
except
know.
his young gun. So far.
Yeah. I find it harder and harder to judge other people's card purchases because, well, I just look at them. I made some doozies myself too, right? But the question was asked, so we should answer it. And I'll put my answer this way. Like, I'm the least confident in the SP game used base parallel out of 5 that somebody forked over 20,000 US for. I'm less confident that will hold its value than compared to like a Young Guns Outburst Red out of 25. Like, all things being equal, I would bet more on the Outburst, even at 25 versus some random base parallel, low numbered base parallel. But the money is just crazy. And that being said, too, I'm sure now, because I said it, 3 years from now, that card will sell for $12 million and they'll laugh in my face.
No, I'd really like to hammer home. I think so. What has come out? Flagship, SPX,
Yep.
Black
Game
Diamond.
Used?
No,
Black
not
Diamond.
SPX. SP Game Used, Trilogy, Synergy,
Okay.
Artifacts.
Okay.
OPG paper.
Okay. So no platinum, no
Black Diamond,
no
Black
SP
Diamond's come
authentic.
up, yeah.
Black Diamonds come out. So I will give a strong opinion here to TNC Breakers. The most overrated Connor Bedard card is all of them except anything that doesn't say Young Guns on it. That's it. I wouldn't spend one penny on anything. No one's gonna in 5 years, unless something takes off. Nothing that has come out. There's no trilogy card of Connor Bedard that's going to sell for over $1,000 forever, unless like inflation, you the blah 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 blah. Like in 50 years, fine. If $1,000 is a bag of potato chips, but that's my strong opinion, and that's my hard line. It is. You said it, Josh. It's not the junk wax; it's the junk variety era. Yeah, my opinion. Yep.
All right, Troy, are we good?
We're good.
Okay. Super important question. Very, very, speaking of controversial, our good friend Bobby, 86 Collectibles, says, when you wink, do you wink with your left eye or right eye? I cannot wink with my right eye. I can only wink with my left. Where do you guys fall on this?
I'm a left eye blinker.
What?
My left eye closes when I wink.
Can blink with both eyes.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, humble brag there.
Well, I didn't know you. I didn't know other
like,
people. Like, should you guys go to the doctor? Like, is that?
We're like Lisa Left Eye Lopez from TLC.
It's like dominant hand, right? So most people, 95% of the people are dominant with one hand. And then you got it's all the bell curve, right? The bell curve.
Careful. All right. I'm a switch hitter, so I can use both.
All right. Instagram, Morello 99. I loaded up on Sorokin Young Guns and autos during his rookie year. Should I hit the panic button? Well, a lot of us loaded up on rookies in 2020, Morello, and they're all pretty much underwater at this point.
Yeah.
So I think you either hold on and hope that Sorokin's still a good goalie. He had a little bit of a tough year, or you at some point you got to maybe cut your losses.
You'll be okay, man. He's a good goalie. Give him some time.
He's a good goalie. This is where we get back into the whole goalie. It's just goalie prospecting is almost impossible. It's so hard. just two bad games and their market tanks. It's just one of those things.
Look at my sons. We got Craig Anderson when he was 30 or 29, and he's the best goalie we've ever had.
Yeah.
So come on, now what can happen? He's a good goalie. Sorokin's good, man. Keep your cards.
Here's a question pretty much made for Phil. Instagram, Secure Shell. I recently pulled 4 Chris Chelios miscut error cards from 1990 Pro Set. What should I do next?
What a great question. Good. Chris Chelios, good, strong Greek man. Keep them. They're not worth anything. There's more error cards than non-error cards. Yeah. It's cool though. And I know what you're feeling, Secure Shell. I know it's like, whoa, there's got to be something. It's exciting, and I love you, but it's not worth nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
I think when people got into the hobby, or even when we were kids, you always heard about the error cards.
They're
worth a fortune. The Frank Thomas no name, I think, is worth good money if it's a high grade.
Good call.
Well, the Billy Ripken is the most famous.
Ripken, which they did. Did you see what they did in the new? Was it?
Yeah, with
the
fun face. They did a fun face. It was it Adley Rushman? It was some Oriole guy, and he's got it's like a
or Gunnar Henderson, something like that.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, but that's not an error. That's just a rude card, right? Like it
was like an error to get through.
Okay, so the Paul
get approved.
So the Paul Gillies with the bloody nose, that's an error card, but it's not an error.
Yeah.
He has blood on his nose in the 1990
miscuts probably aren't really deemed errors, right? I mean, they're just bad cut. But like Phil said, they're probably not worth anything.
I don't think there's a lot of QC in the factory.
No.
Yeah. Okay, Instagram BLN cards. Do all hobby packs have at least one hit? Well, it depends how you define hit, but yes, all hobby packs will typically have at least one card that's not a base card.
Yeah.
Is that the best way to answer that?
That's
the best way to answer.
Very diplomatic.
MVP will usually have some like a silver parallel or some parallel. Like I'm going on the bottom of the barrel. So I think it's safe to say 99% of hockey cards packs have one hit, non-base.
Ruben Kramer from Instagram has 2 questions. The first one kind of impacted our free agency roundup there. I had on my other players to look at Jake Gensel, and then right before the show, I saw a little notification. But he asked thoughts on Jake Gensel and where he ends up in free agency. Did you guys see he was traded to Tampa Bay?
When did that happen?
Today.
Oh, no, I didn't see that. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's good for Tampa Bay. I don't see him as a super. I think falls under really good player that you would love to have on your team. Not much of a hobby guy at this point.
Okay.
PC guy. I don't know. What do you think?
I have no opinion. I'm just worried about tomorrow, or today. I mean, I'm curious to see what's happening.
You think Gensel's like oh boy, he had a tough year this year, didn't he?
I don't know much.
Oh, he was injured. Yeah, he was injured. I was
like, Carolina.
Is that their play to kind of replace Stamkos?
I don't know. Okay, well, really quick on free agency. Are you expecting your Ottawa Senators to be very aggressive?
Yeah, big splash. Top 3 biggest moves in the whole day today. Yeah, I'm excited when we get off this podcast to run a TSN and see what's happened.
Who are you targeting? Who do you covet?
Well, we need a good, solid defenseman. That's why I was asking California Dave about Roy from LA. Because we lost stupid Toronto got who'd they get? Andorov today? They picked him up. Andalov? I forget his name. Zadorov. Sorry, it was a Zadorov. Yeah, they got him. And Ottawa was going for Zadorov pretty hard. Way to go, Steos. And so we didn't get him. Toronto qualified a sheet to him or something. I don't know. So that sucks. So we need a good defenseman. We got our goalie. We need to trade Chikrin. We have a lot going on, man. Today's going to be crazy. I'd say Ottawa's going to make some of the biggest moves.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love the second question from Ruben Kramer. He says, at what dollar amount do you top load cards? For me, it's $5. Like that's what do you guys do?
I don't know, man. I'm struggling with that right now. I don't know how to organize my cards well. I'm a big top loader. I'm a big one-touch guy, and I don't know when I put it in a top loader. I'm a big on penny sleeves for regular inserts.
So I am totally different. I do not assign. I don't top. If I top load a card, it doesn't matter the value. I will top load it if it goes in, if it's a rookie or if it's an insert or parallel. and it goes into because I have basically those top loader boxes for those cards in my storage.
So if it's a Hundo P, you're top loading that baby?
Usually, if I have multiples, I won't do duplicates.
Okay.
So I buy cases of top loaders. I go through those things like crazy.
Uh-huh. Everyone's got their own way. Yeah, $5 for me. Okay, Instagram, McLeb Hockey Cards. Another great question. He says, why do you think hockey and baseball card lovers are usually more known for collecting as opposed to basketball and football ones who are more known for flipping? I thought a lot about this in the last couple of days, and here's the answer I came up with, and you guys let me know if you agree or disagree. I think baseball is America's pastime, and Canada is hockey's main sport. And therefore, both sports have a much longer and deeper collecting and hobby legacy going back decades, and in the case 100 years. Even go back into the 80s, nobody cared about basketball or football cards, right? They were kind of a joke to some degree, to the point where like everyone in the pandemic, the 86 Fleer Michael Jordan was worth $750,000 up to. You could have bought boxes of 86 Fleer basketball 25 years ago at a dime store for a dime, right? They were just so nobody really cared much about them. So that's, I guess, the best way I can answer that. What do you guys think?
Well, look at the fan bases. Basketball and football have different fan bases than hockey and baseball. I don't know. How about this? Football players don't. It's not the athletes don't last as long in football.
Yeah.
Right. The longevity.
Yeah. Three-year average career.
They switch teams a lot quicker. Yeah. I don't know anything about basketball. I don't know if players stay on their teams. Is there a lot of trades in basketball as well?
Well, I would say like basketball has become very popular in the last 25 years, ever since LeBron in his rookie cards. But it just doesn't have the legacy. There's not like the vintage, like seems like there's barely a vintage football market. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say that it was there more vintage basketball market, maybe some of those tall boys or
maybe.
They're all tall boys, Troy. They play basketball.
Yeah, sure. Here's my question, Phil. What's the other national sport of Canada? I know
lacrosse.
Yeah. I just love that. You always think hockey, but then there's two. They have a winter and a summer.
Yeah, lacrosse.
Sport.
Yeah, I love lacrosse. I wish lacrosse was more popular. I'm built for it. I love lacrosse.
Just lacrosse cards that have come out, and people are like big time going into those.
There's there's pickleball cards that have come out too by Leaf. So
pickleball. I don't like how this pickleball thing's taken over, man. Deborah, where's my paddle?
Remember at Montreal, we saw it in the facility we were in. They had pickleball.
Oh my God, Troy, you're right. Yeah, I blocked that from my memory. Yeah, that was brutal.
Anyway. Okay, two more. Instagram, a Boyer. So he replied to our story and he sent a picture, which I didn't know you could do. And in the picture, he sent a card of a McDavid RPA from SPX that was like so teeny tiny on my phone. Speaking of feeling old, I used a magnifying glass and could barely read it. And so there's no way I could get it off because it's in like the archive. I'm going way too deep here. Point is, he sent us a picture of a very cool McDavid rookie patch auto from 2015 SPX. He wanted us to kind of give him, says it's been a safety deposit box. What do we think it's worth? What I told him is the patch is like 3 colors or 4 colors, whatever the maximum is for Oilers. It's an amazing patch. I would want a premium because of it, but there's no way to tell the condition of the card, and just take it to an expert, somebody you trust, and
take it to your LCS to start.
Take it to a few and get a bunch of opinions. But but I think that the one thing that's more, I guess, relevant from how could everyone benefit from this is you do see a premium. The nicer the patch, the more the premium. So don't look at a one color that sold for $1,000 and think it's $1,000 card. If the patch is, because on the nicer side of the spectrum, then it would sell for a lot more. Last question. Discord, the Hobby Breakers. Has Bedard Canvas Mania affected the overall canvas market? Prices seemingly point to yes. And I think this goes to the phenomenon that we've noticed for a couple years where when a new flagship release comes out, the canvas cards tend to have more value than the young guns, than the base young guns. And you're seeing this right now with Adam Fantilli who's I believe is Canvas Young Guns and Base Young Guns came out and extended, and the Canvas sells for more. It happens every time.
Really?
In 6 months, it'll be the complete opposite.
Yep, it'll flip.
I did not know any of that. No kidding.
Yeah.
Why?
I have no idea.
No.
Probably the insert and think it's a rarity.
It's a tougher chase.
Yeah.
Than a Base Young Guns, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Especially if you get a black and white or whatever the parallel.
Look at the doubloons. They're a case hit.
Yeah.
No one cares.
No one cares.
No, beautiful card, phenomenal card. No one cares. I got a McDavid for like $65. No one cares.
Yeah. Plus, I mean the Bedard mania or the Canvas mania too. It's really short time frame too. So I mean probably need another couple weeks to see how that plays out.
That card will be $1.
All right, personal pickups time. Troy, you got anything?
Nothing.
Boo.
Troy, I'm gonna
Bill's
send you
got
cards.
something though.
Oh yeah.
Holy moly. Can't wait to show everyone this.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
When you sent the text, I was like very, very jealous.
You ready
Phil.
for me to show it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Bam! There it is. So what you're looking at is a 2020-2021 exquisite autograph patch of Alexander Ovechkin out of 25. He signed it, almost signed the jersey, so I was pretty close. But he signed it in the middle of the card, which was nice.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful. So it cost me it was posted on eBay for $3,000. I privately with a make an offer. I privately messaged him and I offered $2,000. He said that was a great offer, very reasonable, and he'll think about it. Proceed to the next day. I opened a box of Parker's Champions, and I got I apologize. It was the day before. I got a Parker's Champions patch auto of Alexander Ovechkin. That was my first auto of Ovi and my first patch of Ovi. So I wanted to keep the momentum going. I was riding a high. So I slept on it and I messaged him again the next day. Oh no, he messaged me and he said, "Hi, are you on social media?" I said, "Yes." I noticed he got a few offers on eBay already, so I kind of wanted to speed it up. I got it for $2,200, shipped and delivered. Yeah,
nice,
very happy.
Beautiful card.
Yeah, worth every penny to me in the vault, the whole bit. Well, it's actually in my house now. I'm bringing it to my shop on Tuesday. Yeah, but that's it. That's all I got.
I got a couple cards. The first one was a Total Flyer. It's from the new extended, and I've always kind of liked holographics. Now, the toughest chase is this Future Fame set within holographics, which I think is 1 in 360 packs for anyone, and there's 10 cards. So I'd like to get the Draisaitl here would be 1 in 3,600 packs. I paid like $9 with shipping. You never know with cards you've never seen in hand, like what this will look like. And so it's a little bit of a flyer, but super tough odds. I'm a little bit of a holographic stan, and so I thought for $9, what the heck. Then a card that I'm more excited about is I picked up a 2014 Fleer Ultra EX Pavel Datsyuk. The Central Credentials now out of 24. Yeah.
Big Datsyuk guy now, eh, Josh?
Kind of. I don't know.
No, it's good, man. It's a very underrated player. You can probably score a lot of his cards really cheap.
Can we go back?
Yeah,
to
you get really nice cards, super cheap. And
doesn't that look like he's got
a cigarette
in his mouth?
Smoking a cigarette. And he looks like Matt Tkachuk in the background. Doesn't that look like Matthew Tkachuk?
Yeah, that looks like Tkachuk in the background. And it looks like he's got a cigarette in.
This card can be totally stupid in hand, I'm
sorry.
But the odds are tough.
I'd say your X card is worse.
You don't like that?
No, I hate it. It's so ugly.
You don't like Essential Credentials?
No, can't stand them. Yeah, when you had that interview on, I just skipped the whole thing.
It's very busy, but man, could they please just put it in a nice top load? Like, just find a new top loader and
it drives me nuts. Look, it even has a chip on the top. It's even broken.
Yeah, look how scratched up it is. Zoom in, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, I can see it on the top there. It's just this thing's been through some battles, man.
I love it when you bump into a flipper and they're trying to just like wheel and deal, and all their cases are just so cut up and grow. Like, you just, man, get away from me. Like
the yellow top loader.
Yeah, and they're telling you how great the card is and how rare it is. They don't even know what they're talking about.
Well, call us Gilligan's Island, boys. It's been another 3-hour tour, so
holy moly.
We got time to wrap up. If you like the episode, please leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, whatever podcast app you listen to us on. If you love the show, you want to support us, want to chat with us on the Hockey Cards Gong Show Discord server, please consider a $5 a month donation. Join our $1.99 support level tier on Patreon. Link is in the show description of both podcast apps and YouTube and our Instagram, TikTok profile. You can go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, or to Patreon's website directly and just search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. We're on social media. So, hey, give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, and boys. The Hockey Cards Gong Show podcast is a production of Dogbox Ventures, LLC. Have an awesome start to your week. Any final words, Phil? Words of advice for
boys and girls, Josh. Boys and girls.
Boys and girls.
I hope everyone has a great Canada Day weekend. And to my American basement neighbors, I hope you have a great 4th of July week as well.
All right. We'll see you guys on Thursday.